whatever it is at the time zone you're in. I'm sorry. I, of course, got a phone call 10 minutes before I was supposed to start. So I know I'm late and of questionable sexuality, but if Selbert can do it, so can I.
It sounds
Hi,
like your
Jamie.
microphone is not on.
Way over here.
Oh, okay.
Well, I just ran in, sat down, pushed the buttons. So good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good whatever I used to say. I'm a bit flustered because everything, of course, happens 5 minutes before I'm about to go live. But it doesn't matter. It's Friday. We have Jamie here. What else do you need? So I think we're just going to be here for 2 hours like this.
Now.
What do you say, Chad? Should we just keep enjoying those lashes?
You're big and full today.
Oh yeah, let's have a good full screen view.
She made him extra for Brie.
But I was just looking into some stuff this morning because yesterday somebody was asking me why I didn't stream anything because it was a kind of a dead day, and when people are bored of themselves, they go into Dave's Discord. Everyone should become a member over an MLS Law Show. Then you get to join the Discord. And when I went into the Discord at 10 p.m., let's just say someone needed someone to keep them in check. Farrell, C-Swept, Jamie, Lefty, I'm looking at you. But then I was looking around this morning and I saw that Kouri Richins is suing her late husband's estate. If anyone remembers, I have a video on my channel about the hearing in this case. This is the children's book author who allegedly spiked her husband's, I believe it was a Moscow Mule or White Russian with a little bit of fentanyl, 5 times the legal amount, not legal, lethal amount. And he's not here anymore. And then she wrote a book about it. And that book disappeared from Amazon when the police indicted her with his murder. But she is suing her late husband's estate. So I found that video while I was trolling the internet, and I had thought we could look into the Sarah Boone. I sent David a link if you want to come on, but I thought this is a little more. There's a little more in this. This is new. This is from yesterday. So I thought we could do this today. It's about an hour long. So at an hour on Baker's channel is about 5 to 10 hours in the real world. But let's do what we are always supposed to do. I'm live now, Salbert. Thank you. C-Swept, I'm still live. Oh, Cal is sweet. Good morning, genitals. Baker is cute, I know. Sel, are you streaming later? I know David is having a stream at, I think it's 9 p.m. my time, which would be, now I have to math, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, with the girl who was found guilty in throwing the lie at her father, which made him pass away. I believe Dave will be having her on for a stream today. Her mother was on during the trial, but now the young lady who were released after the sentencing hearing, she got about a year and 5 years of probation in that trial. She will be on with Dave today. It's must watch TV, must watch YouTube. So everyone set your timer for Dave's stream in the afternoon American time before bedtime my time. Who else is here? We have Shaquille Oatmeal. Hello.
Yes.
Mary Viviano. I haven't seen that name before. Welcome. Good morning, Indigo. Welcome. Sadly, no trip to Texas this week. Hey. Yeah, it was because I started with my mic over here, so with a directional mic, it doesn't pick up so well. Because my mic was not in front of me. You know it. I was too sexy for my microphone. That's the problem. Good morning, Kim.
Hi, Kim.
Oh. Hello, reindeer. I forgot you. I saw you a lot in the chat.
Reindeer.
Boom, 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 boom. See, sweat button, I'm putting that up. Christy Ree. Yeah, we'll see what the hearing is about. I've only watched part of it because I found it before I went to the gym today, and then I was so lucky that my back seized up while I was doing leg presses. So I've been lying on the floor getting ready for this.
What happened?
My back just seized up. It does that sometimes when yeah, I don't know why, but all the muscle just seizes up, and then I just have to lie on the floor and cry. Manly crying. Miami Spice, welcome. You're still here?
I am.
Hello, Colleen. Salbert will be live tomorrow after Jody. Good to know. If my back is not killing me, I hope I can pull you into a little stab your day tomorrow, Sal. I know you like to stab at the ladies.
He likes to hang out with us.
So am I going to cover this trial? If possible, if time permits, maybe we will pick up another trial next week about I have to pull it up. I got a little hint about a case that's beginning to start. That's supposed to start next week about the Black Widow husband who had four of his sex. Didn't you get a tweet, an email yesterday?
Did I?
About a case starting next week?
Is it the Black Swan?
Black Widow, the man who had 6 wives and only 2 of them are still alive. He was found not guilty, but I have it somewhere in my watch later videos because I thought if there was nothing else today, we could look a bit about that to get ready for next week. It's
That sounds interesting.
Thomas Randolph, who is on trial for murdering his wives. So
his wives. Wow.
Well, one of them at least, but 4 of them has ceased breathing. So, but we'll see if it goes on Monday. I don't think I have anything next week, so we could do that. Maybe I can get Jamie to help me or whatever we find out. So yeah. Hey Fed, you have been really active. Not so much nature in the last fishing video. It was kind of, it was more houses and your friend standing and talking to the water. You are Norwegian. I understand that. Oh, you have seen parts of it? No, I believe she's in prison, so she probably wasn't there. Good morning, Irish. It could be spicy, or it could be, well, David hasn't picked it up, so it will probably not be boring.
Exactly.
I'm live streaming, but I could be an AI while I'm out doing something else. What's that? No, 46 wife is dead. They were not unalive. That's not for sure. He was only convicted once for one of them, and then he was released again. So it's kind
I
of like
need to know about this. What is that? I've never heard of this one.
because you got an email yesterday with a link, and then you go into Google and read up about it.
Oh, well, I didn't know I got an email. I haven't checked my email in a hot minute.
I will probably need the documents for the Thomas Randolph case. Yeah, he had his death penalty overturned, but it'll be interesting to see what it's about, because he claims he didn't do any of that. Yeah, not guilty on wife 1 and convicted of wife 6 and then overturned. So it'll be an interesting case. So if it's somewhere we can find it, I'll probably look into that next week. Especially if you're a fisherman, talk to the fishers. My brother goes to Norway. His brother-in-law lives up there, so he goes up there to fish. Where? Don't ask me. Hey, Lefty.
Hi, Lefty.
Again, it could be the cabinet gnomes. It could be the spider ninjas. You never know in any of these cases. We'll have to watch the trial to see whatever part of it that did it.
I
We
miss
know.
what's his face? Bradley. I miss Bradley.
Yeah. Well, I miss all the ones with the ninja. Jody had ninjas do it. Bradley had ninjas do it. Then there was the guy who hid in New Orleans, who had ninjas come and kill his mother.
Mm-hmm.
Then we had the Alaskan vampires going door to door to spread the word of Nosferatu. In the I don't know. I don't remember. What's her name? The Russian trained Spanish assassin. Letitia Stout. Yeah. Oh, our first live proposal.
Aww.
If you can keep up, there's 36 people here. Most of them are probably female, as my analytics say 80% are female on my channel. So you can get engaged to one of them, I'm sure. Well, that's the dynamic on this channel. That's why I get all the hate mail that Jamie giggles too much, and I talk too much, which is not true. Jamie can never giggle too much.
What is wrong with people? God.
If I will live stream the nuptials, if Dave can get the documents, I'll live stream it.
Mm-hmm.
So, should we take a look at this? I don't think we have to wait for Dave to come. He said he could probably make it, so that means he's out for cigarettes again.
It means I'm not showing up.
Yeah. It's kind of like asking a girl out and she maybe I just have to think about it. Nope.
Let me see what my calendar looks like.
Yeah. My sock drawer has been a mess the last couple of weeks, so Saturday is not a good day for me. But we can do it Friday. I said sock drawer. Have you seen my shirt drawer? It's a mess. I'll go come back to that. Do you need the documents for filing motions? Jamie doesn't need Gigglebush. Gigglebush needs Jamie. Yeah. But we need Jamie to make this bearable when we have those trials that's just killing us.
Well, that's what it is. It's the stupid people and it's the chat. It's not the stuff on the screen ever that I'm laughing at, I swear. Unless it's talking about wiping your booty with your sleeves and your socks. That was the best thing I've ever heard in my life.
And again, it's a good story to tell at the bachelor's party or at a 50th birthday, but at a victim impact statement. I'm not sure I would have said that. Hey, Murph Surf, did you know Murph is a man? I always thought it was a woman, but again, I was mistaken.
Yeah.
Happy David can clear stuff up for us.
David's always right.
Yeah.
1%.
Especially when he says the Disney Star Wars are great movies. That doesn't sound like a person who had a little bit too much of the Colombian margin powder.
Yeah.
Nope. Yeah, it's kind of like the internet. I'm a small channel. I have less than 500 subs. Thank you each and everyone who has pressed the subscribe button. And still, I get hate. And it's not only Søren. Søren just comes over here and yells outside my window, but people write on my YouTube too. No, I won't Boone now. I'll do Richin instead because Boone, I was just missing the part where the detectives were talking to her outside the house, but we have seen her interrogation. But I would still like to bring you on to if we have done Boone because you're kind of our suitcase expert, and you're welcome to come on. Still, you can talk about Star Wars. I won't mute you, but I will just nod my head disagreeingly. No, I didn't buy any Lego for Saturday because I was a bit late. But is it the big X-wing or the small X-wing you bought? Because I saw the big one in the store. That's pretty. It's a decent price. Yeah, I used to assume Murph's gender, but now thanks to David, I know that Murph is a man. He, him pronouns. Hey, Wendy, you got it. Dave is always right. Dave is the best of us. Yeah, that's why all the big channels take him, so all us little folks can't enjoy him anymore. So now he's just out for smokes. Well, she said all the nice things about you. Jamie is cute. Well, thank you, because your high-pitched screaming voice is annoying. No, Søren is not a romantic person. He's more wham bam, thank you, ma'am, and then he's gone forever. It still hurts. Jamie is excitingly cute, and I think, chat, you have done it. In less than 20 minutes, you have broken Jamie so much she has to turn off a camera. You gotta love his text to speak. It's working great. Hey, Chris Mullen.
Lord have mercy.
Is there a simp trophy tonight? Okay. How do we get that? I have to turn up my simp mode. But let's take a look at this nice person who allegedly unalived her husband and now is suing her husband's estate. As she would do, because she didn't do it.
Yeah, of course.
So let's see what this is all about. Not pulling that one up, MLS.
All right. Summit County District Court is in session. The Honorable Richard Morozic is presiding.
Have a seat, please. All right. We're here on 220500076. Kouri Richins versus Katie Richins Benson in her capacity as trustee of the Eric Richins Living Trust.
I think the sound picks up in a bit because he's not talking into his mic.
No.
Very good. Welcome. And for Ms. Richins Benson, please.
Yes, Your Honor. James Tracy and Jacob Gorange for defendant Kouri Richins Benson in her capacity as the trustee of the Eric Richins Living Trust.
And Ms. Chandler.
Deborah Chandler on behalf of the minor children.
Very good. All right. We're here on 3 motions. They are related. So there may be some going back and forth as we address related issues. Why don't we handle
I think they only put out mono
the
signal.
motion
That's why it was so
related
low.
to plaintiff's 7th claim for relief first? That's the motion for partial summary judgment related to the Oil Transfer Act.
Jamie, what's toolless? Is it Dave's text to speak that?
I
made
feel like
them-
he is because I'm trying to read it.
One of the O should be a P, I'm sure. And then I won't pull it up.
Yeah, topless, yeah.
Hey, Gigi. Because this is a civil hearing, so I believe she can't be there because she's incarcerated. Dave could probably tell me if I'm wrong, but I think she is incarcerated. So as this is a civil court, I would assume she can't go to that one. Oh, you're from the fake country too. I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, she is.
Reindeer, cold showers, as I tell Salbert in every trial.
Go take a cold shower.
Salbert, you would see her lawyer, the international champion of wrestling bitch faces today, so you can enjoy that.
Champion. Oh.
Yeah, she has the one with the pointy nose and the fake tatas. It's yeah, it could be the toothless pigs, not the topless.
You have toothless
AWV.
pics of feral. Uh,
It's more
Yeah.
that you lost 2 wars to birds that make us think you're not real. Salbert, you'll take one for the team.
he doesn't like the fake teas, man. The little teas.
Well, he says that. Iris, we have just started because I was told that it's a good thing to wait a bit so everyone, because somebody says I'm too fast. A lot of people, especially ladies, has complained about that. So I'm starting out on a new line.
Oh my god, I need a drink.
where I talk for a bit so people can get in here. And if you're so inclined, please hit the like and subscribe. If you're new here, thank you so much for showing up. And for those of you who have been here before, and Søren, thank you anyway that you came back for this S show that my streams awfully often turn into, because I'm trying, guys. Ladies, it's Friday, I know. No, but emus are really real in Australia because you lost to them twice. Good morning, Thierry.
How best to start here? Mr. Nate, are you doing the talking on this one?
Yes, Your Honor, I am.
Why don't we start with you? I think for the benefit of our media members, you need to stand at the podium.
Thank you, do so, Your Honor.
Benefit our Pokemon.
Hopefully that doesn't slide down.
May I ask you a couple of questions?
Thank you, Gigi. I'm trying to couple a stream together with shoestring and duct tape, and until Twisted turns up and says, "Stop talking," I'll try to entertain you as much as possible.
Yes, Your Honor, please do.
First, in your view, how's the fact that a transfer or revocable trust doesn't put assets beyond the reach of creditors affect the application of the act. Hold on one second.
Okay.
Well, they can't be. It's just a psyop.
I need to fix it. You sure? Okay. Okay. How does it, I mean, the argument, right, is it's as if the assets were transferred from a creditor's perspective. They're still reachable under Utah code. What is the argument?
So I think there's two ways to address that, Your Honor. And the first is, and of course, as you mentioned, there's bleed over into the other motions that are issued. And I think this particular issue,
I'm not a man-whore like
lends
someone.
itself to that specifically. Because one of the positions that the defendant has taken in this case is that Eric no longer had anything to convey to him or convey to Kouri upon his death. And essentially it was out of her reach at that point because it had been transferred to the trust.
Right, but I'm asking you a different question. So put that as you decide. Let's assume that the money, the buy-sell proceeds. If I recall correctly, nobody in the case is asserting, or Kouri, forgive me, is not asserting unwind the assignment, I want the membership interest. Rather, she's asserting
Good God.
an interest in the full amount of the buy-sell proceeds. Is that correct?
That's correct, Your Honor.
Okay. And so let's assume for the purposes of our discussion, just for now.
Yeah.
That's $2 million sitting in court that she asserts a claim to, and that she is a quote unquote creditor. Why is her ability, interest, efforts to secure her interest in that $2 million hindered, delayed, defrauded in any way by their fact that they're currently being held, at least nominally, by the irrevocable trust? Can she reach them?
Right. Yes, Your Honor. I think she absolutely can reach them. And, that's why we cited that in our reply in the votable transfers motion, is because we think that position is diametrically opposed to the other positions that's been taken with respect to the motion.
Sorry, Twisted hasn't shown up yet, so normally I'll just let it run because I only stopped to mess with his ADHD. But I just saw that Fedorowski, he put out a video yesterday, and he is uploading another one. As I have said on many a stream, he has a criminally underrated channel on YouTube. It's not all the spiciness, it's not all the drama, it's not all the Marvel is stupid or DC is amazing or anything. It's just chill videos if you need something to chill out to. Somebody does Netflix and chill, I do Fedorowski and chill. And I think everyone should do the same because he has some very, very great production videos where we see the beautiful Stavanger landscape. Near Stavanger is a city in Norway, and he's riding around with his friend and just talking. It's kind of low key. It's kind of like you're sitting in the backseat of it's a Tesla you're driving, right? And everyone should just go and follow him. I really want to push you above 100 subscriptions because on YouTube there's some levels you have to get above to get more views and be shown to more people. And his videos are amazing. I'm just a stupid idiot talking while the stream is going on in the background. Fedorowski makes a super product if you need something to just chillax to. So join me and do Fedorowski and chill.
It's really good.
It's really, really good.
For summary judgment, the cross motions for summary judgment, we think there's some conflict there. And so in the event, as we believe, that under the Utah...
Farrell, no, this is the children's book author who allegedly gave her husband 5 times the lethal amount of fentanyl, and later, when he was not there anymore, wrote a book about how sad her children were that their dad was gone. A book you can find on any places anymore because it was pulled after it came out that the police charged her with his death. And now this is her suing the husband's estate because he made a trust. I believe they were either separated or they had talked about getting separated because the husband had an affair, and that's why when all the money went into a trust, and now she's trying to get some of them. So this is the children book author, not the cop. No, C-Swift. That'll be behind closed blinds on the sofa. I'll be doing Fred and chill. Yeah, the music is so well put together with the imagery. It's it's when you're sitting having your first cup of coffee, put a little Fed on you.
Code, she can directly access that under the arguments that have already been made. Then the voidable transfer, I don't want to say it's not necessary, but I think there's a much clearer way to resolve the issues that are outstanding here instead of setting the transfer aside, if that makes sense.
I agree with the last part. I mean, I think with respect to everybody that's filed a motion here is that's for more relief than they're entitled to, if they're entitled to any. Your motion, though, seeks a ruling as a matter of law that this was, in fact, a voidable transfer and that it should be unwound, meaning nominal title to that $2 million should be held in the name of the estate of Eric Richins, not the revocable trust established by Eric Richins. Am I right about that?
That's correct, Your Honor.
Okay. But it's the same from a creditor's perspective, right? Whether you execute a judgment against the revocable trust or you execute it against the estate, there's no difference, is there?
Honestly, Your Honor, I think there may be some difference to a degree, but again, at the end of the day, based off of
I'm Danish, so I'm not sure what I said wrong.
The defendant's position in the opposition, in which again we reiterate in the reply that it's accessible just simply under the statutes of the trust code, then yeah, I think we would agree with you that unwinding the transfer may not be necessary, or we may not even need to get there, simply because if Kouri is in fact a creditor, and I think that's the critical question here, and is admitted in the opposition, that if Kouri is a creditor and therefore has a claim for purposes of the statute, then really there's no need to go through this process of dealing with the voidable transfer, because there's a much more direct way of going about it.
I agree there's a more direct way. I think you may be reading too much into their
Good morning, Paige.
I
Welcome.
read their brief as saying we concede that she falls within the statutory definition of a creditor, not that Eric Richins had a business interest to transfer at the time of his death. He already transferred it in a way that doesn't breach the freedom.
Right. And I don't want to correct, I don't want to, say what their position is or any, I'm sure, they'll get up here. I do think they do dispute that Kouri's a creditor, though, in the briefing. I think they dispute that there's a creditor-debtor relationship that existed here under the underlying documents and the claims that have been asserted. It's very clear a creditor is an individual that has a claim, and the claim is defined very broadly under the Act. So we think, as a matter of law, Kouri is absolutely a creditor under the Voidable Transactions Act. And
but given the breadth of the definition of creditor, isn't it true as a matter of law that you can be a creditor by virtue of an allegation rather than an adjudicated fact, right? I mean, that's
correct. Right, exactly right. I mean, the statutory language says it can be a disputed, unliquidated, contingent, right to payment. And so, yeah, clearly we say that Kouri is a creditor under these circumstances. But with respect to, my recollection is that the position that a transfer to a revocable trust can't constitute a voidable transfer for purpose of the Act. My recollection is all the case law is foreign case law, nothing that would be specifically binding on this court. And at the end of the day, we cited a case law, which I will mention as well, is from an outside jurisdiction, but we think it's illustrative that these types of revocable trusts can be used as an instrument to do exactly what we're, what the Avoidable Transaction Act seeks to avoid, which is to
Well, I I wish David was here to explain how you can be a creditor to
Yeah.
a trust fund made with your husband's estate. Maybe because they made some money together and she might be in a divorce. I don't know if that state has the 50-50 rule or whatever, but still, uh, we're going to learn today. Everyone remember, I know nothing, and Jamie, she knows everything, but she won't tell us.
Yeah. I know it all. I just don't talk about it.
First rule of law school, don't talk about law.
Yeah.
put things outside of the reach of creditors under that very broad definition. And specifically the Pandy case from Colorado that we cited, again, recognizing that it is, not binding on this court, but it's specifically addresses the idea that a creditor, or excuse me, a debtor should not be able to have all the benefits associated with a revocable trust to the detriment but be able to shield that from all the creditors.
But if I read the Utah probate code correctly, there is no limitation on the post-death susceptibility of an asset that was contributed to a revocable trust during the testator's life to claims of creditors.
Oh, she's saying that she's a creditor as she was supposed to be the beneficiary of his business upon his death. But again, he put it into a trust way before to protect the money for the children, as far as I remember. They talked about at her hearing. And the sister, I believe, has is the owner of the trust, or is I don't know what the word is. She is the handler of the trust until the kids are old enough. So why she should be, if there is not some piece of paper saying that she should have X amount of the business after, I can't see how. Yeah. But before his death, he placed it into revocable. Yeah, that was when they were getting divorced, or she bought a house and he didn't like it. She flipped houses. So his family, according to her, talked him into C-swept. I'm trying to be serious here. Don't make Jamie cry. She made the trust to protect. He made the trust to protect the kids' money. And the interest is not his anymore, no, but and the trust has a different beneficiary. I know it's the children, but the trust is run by his sisters, as far as I remember. But he was the trustee for the trust, so she's saying that it's still his personal property, but the kids are the trustee. She tried to change his life insurance, I believe, or did succeed with changing his life insurance so it didn't go to the kids or his family and go to his to her instead. So yeah, this trust will probably the beneficiary of all the coincidences.
It's as if it was just sitting in the estate of the individual, right?
I think you're correct, Your Honor. And
Okay.
yes.
And so I think their argument was categorically, as a matter of law, transfers to a revocable trust cannot be within the purview of the act. Now, in fairness to you, you say, all right, they're not in the purview of this section of the act, but what about the no equivalent value? And would you acknowledge there's at least an issue of fact as to whether or not $2 million is equivalent value? I don't know that I can grant summary judgment on that.
Could you clarify your question? An issue of fact on the value on that value, or
There's
what
two
do you mean?
different sections of the act.
Right, correct.
Two different, I guess we'll say silos of the act.
Right.
One is creditor, debtor.
Iris is really she got the documents. She's trying to claw the interest back to her. I don't believe that she has any creditor interest or interest in business. No, they had separate businesses as far as I remember, but I'm coming off a little bias here, and I know I shouldn't do that because I'm just a canvas that should be painted by all the facts and evidence. But she seems kind of like a bee. So I think that she would do anything. There was also the stuff about her going to Mexico and Spain after his death so the kids could play football. She didn't have a vacation and stuff like that. Yeah, but let's see what's getting out of here. Oh, it's you. You know everything about this. Well, why am I streaming? Get on here. Then I go and lay on the floor and have a couple of pills. Well, I'm just a stupid baker, and we have an expert. Just tell me where I should send the YouTube link, the StreamYard link.
Transfer with the intent to hinder, delay, defraud. That'll be category number 1. But then there's a second category of creditor, debtor transfer, not for, is it equivalent value, substantial value?
I think it's reasonably equivalent value.
That would not be affected by the assignment, right? Or I guess that would not be affected by this argument related to category.
I have a few paintings
So that's
on
a
me.
separate issue, right?
Right. Yeah, I think so. Yes.
But here you are asking for summary judgment, meaning undisputed facts, ruling as a matter of law that this was in fact avoidable transfer. In order for me to rule in your favor on that second category of argument of the act, I would have to rule as a matter of law.
I have to correct you. This might be your part of the legal system, but I'm pretty sure that she allegedly killed him. That's why I said I only assume she's kind of a bee because she hasn't been found guilty of anything. And as we saw in her hearing, she seems such a nice person. She
Oh.
cried. She was better than AH.
So sweet.
Well, yeah. If anyone can, it's you, Sal.
$2 million wasn't right.
So the $2 million was not. So let me make sure I understand your question, Your Honor. So under Section 203, I think is where we're operating this second group, right? In order for a transfer to be voidable, there needs to be. In fact, do you mind if I just pull it up? That might be the easiest. I don't want to misquote it here. Assuming my technology will work. There we go. So 202 is actual intent to hinder, delay, or defraud, and 203, subsection 1, is that it transfers voidable if the debtor made the transfer without receiving a reasonably equivalent value in exchange for the transfer, and 2, the debtor was insolvent at the time or became insolvent as a result of the transfer.
And I would see them saying is myriad issues of fact. You haven't proven it based on undisputed facts as a matter of law. What's your response to that?
Our response is they haven't provided any evidence any admissible evidence to the contrary, right?
If you have the initial burden here of production privilege, and they're saying you haven't met it, tell me why you haven't.
I think we met it, Your Honor, because first we have the testimony of our client as to the assets that were owned, that she was aware of at the time of the transfer. In addition, we have the additional debts that we know existed. I don't think there's any dispute as to at least the first mortgage debt. Certainly there's a dispute as to the second one right now. But even if you disregard the second mortgage, with respect to the first mortgage, they haven't identified, or we have come forth with evidence, testimony from our client, stating that Eric's assets did not exceed $200,000, but that his debts did exceed $200,000, and we have that demonstrated by solely the amount of the of the first mortgage on the house, right? So with that testimony and providing, the fact that that debt existed at that time, we think we've met our initial burden to demonstrate that those were the amounts of Eric's assets, those are the amounts of his debts under the terms of the act that constitutes insolvency, and therefore.
Run those numbers by me one more time. I didn't hear you say the words $2 million.
Correct. I did not say the words $2 million.
Again, I never saw Doogie Howser. Jamie is too young for all my movie references, and I'm too old for all yours.
And I think here, because the focus is on the debtor receiving a reasonably equivalent value, so that would be Eric receiving value, not the trust, right?
Your entire argument, though, that he as trustee and he as
when we hear this, there is a mortgage on the house. The first mortgage, she probably took out the second one. Wouldn't it be fair for her to get that must be debt they made together. So if there's any assets left, wouldn't it be fair that she claimed half of the mortgage? Am I wrong in that? If they took a mortgage together and there are money in the bank account, they can't withhold that to repay, because does the mortgage default to her, or do you have to settle your debts before you can? I don't know.
It's different in every
Oh,
state. So.
They have prenups. Okay, but again, the mortgage would be a joint asset, wouldn't it be? Or did one of them own the house?
Yeah.
individual.
I know
are the
nothing.
same For the purposes of this analysis, and so if he is trustee.
Well, usually everything's 50-50.
$50 from buy-sell, he is individual.
Yeah, special.
To a degree, yes, Your Honor. I don't know that we would say that.
That's what I'm meaning. If they co-signed on the mortgage and there is assets in his bank account, even though they had separate assets, she would have a right to say, well, let's just say the mortgage is 100,000. She would, in my opinion, and again, remember, I'm living in a different country. I don't know anything about your laws, your taxes, your borrowing system. I don't know really anything about anything other than I'm just a monkey pressing buttons. But if there's 100,000 left in debt on that mortgage, and he has $50,100 left in his bank account, shouldn't she be able to get his half of, if it's a co-signed mortgage? But I don't know.
Yes, we think functionally it is one and the same, but again, we are taking
Yeah, or
arguments
else they
that we
would have
received from the other
to
side.
sell
That
the
there is
house.
this distinction here, right? And so, had the position been taken that, or without the initial position that the fact that Eric didn't.
Paige, she hasn't unalived him yet, because she's only charged with the crime. She's not found guilty in the crime. So she hasn't officially unalived him.
Not have, possess, or own this upon his death. If that position was not taken, it's highly unlikely we would have brought this motion in the first place.
Bear with me.
I don't know what probate means.
It's over my head.
Well, yeah, but again, then whoever owns his bank account or keeps tab of them, in Denmark, you go to the court system, and someone is an executor of the estates if someone dies. When my mother passed away, my father took care of the estate and had to settle all of her debt before he could see what he inherited from her. And when he passed away, my brother had to make sure, and then all of us kids, you had to pay out everything. I don't know if that's the probate. Where stupid people's money go. Okay. Okay, but
Okay.
if there's two mortgages and she's claiming the one of them they had joined, wouldn't the house be in the name of the trust? And she threw her family, the family members out because the trust didn't own the house. I believe we heard about in the hearing. So, Irish, can you just take a day off on work and come on and tell us all about the law? I'm just a
Yeah.
stupid guy pressing buttons. Yeah, that's and then you go to the court and finalize and say, well, now it's been X amount of month and no new claims have been made against the estate, and then you can pay out what's left in the estate to the people who is inheriting. That's the way we do it. We don't really use those in Denmark because you can't hide anything from the government. Well, or she wants to pay for the house so the family won't have to sell the house and stay there. Again, you can flip everything 180 and says, well, she's taking money out of her kids' pockets or she's providing them a home. Because if she can't pay the mortgage, she will have to sell the house. And what would happen to the kids then? They would have to live in squalor on the streets of San Francisco, where everyone else lives. You can make both arguments. Now we're just angry that because she allegedly put a bit of fentanyl in his, I believe it was a Moscow Mule. But again, she could also be fighting for her children's future. If you sell it right, there's another book in this. That's Jamie's specialty. No, because they talked about that. They talked specifically about she yelled at the sister and told them to get away because all the family members who wasn't the trustee, I believe it's the word, or the trust manager, wasn't there, but the rest of his family just showed up, and she yelled at them to get away. That was a big part of the hearing, that the sister claimed she hated her because she yelled that she should leave her property. But the other sister, who is the executor of the trust or whatever it's called, she's allowed to come on the properties. Yeah, it's the same in Denmark, and then you have the court signing off and say everything is done by the book, and we are sending this to the tax.
Well, David should have got on and explained this stuff because
Irish should be. We've never seen Irish on the stream. She could come on and be our expert for this.
Oh yeah, I think she's working though. Is she working?
Jamie, are you working?
Me?
Are you
I'm off.
working, Jamie? Jamie,
No.
are you working? Are you working, Jamie?
No, I have the day off.
Oh, but normally are you working? Are you
Yes.
working, Jamie? Jamie, are you working? So Irish could be on here working too.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah, we just fix it for you. And if you're sitting in an office or something with other people, some of us will keep it above the belt.
Yeah, pretend you're on the phone.
Yeah, Selbert won't.
Let's talk about the prenup for a second.
Well, if I had a successful book, or if I had an incident, let's call it that, where I was sitting in the big house with the hard walls. I might write a book called If I Did It. It could make me millions. Someone else did that. Yeah, it's easy to be poor and nothing to fight about.
Yeah, I know. I don't got anything for you. Sorry. It's easy.
I understand your argument to be by executing the assignment, Eric breaches the breach to the prenup by effectively diluting Kouri's interest in buy-sell proceeds by 75%. Right?
Correct.
Could Eric have sold his interest?
I don't have any Legos. I'll have to go to the store tomorrow if my back isn't killing me too much. I'll find some small Legos. I know they believe that every Dane has a Lego delivered at our house every month, so we can build it because Lego is of course Danish, but we don't. I do have a brother who works at Lego, but still, I don't have any Legos in my house. I haven't built any Legos since maybe the 90s. So I'll have to go to the store and see if I can find something, maybe something easy. Some of the Lego friends for girls. That's probably not easy enough that I can find it.
What did you build in the 90s?
80s probably. I built. It was before all of these theme sets. It was just houses and streets and cars and whatever you had to make. Iris, I have an idea for you. Just make your own YouTube channel, and I've been grinding for more than a year. At some point, you can maybe make a buck or two. So it's way worth it. Just it's no problem. Or you could become Jamie's last expert. No, it would just no.
Interest during his lifetime in C&E for $500,000?
Get a Barbie set.
I get a duplicate.
I think he probably could have, and I think that's where the distinction comes into play. I guess to clarify my previous answer to your former question is we haven't alleged necessarily that it's a breach of the prenup in this case yet. I think the argument is more that irrespective of Eric's transfer to the trust, the prenup remains binding and therefore is still enforceable against the trustee of the trust.
Well, wait.
It's Dave who gets the women's leg. I have women tattooed on my leg.
If the answer to my question is he could have sold his interest for $500,000 without breaching the prenup, how is that different than what he affected?
I was just watching my Social Blade. That's where they add up what you could, in theory, be making, and I'm on the way to making about $3 a month.
Oh, boy.
So that's some big Legos I can get in 10, 20, 50 years. So watch out, Will. I'm turning. Just tell your friends, get me above 500. Then I'm halfway there to getting monetized.
By the assignment.
Oh, and a new one stopped in. Hey, Pixel. This is the Kouri Richins, the children book author who allegedly dropped a little fentanyl in her husband's drink to spice it up, and he didn't like that. He unalived on it. She wrote a children's book about how much her kids missed their unalived dad after she allegedly unalived him, and she was quite popular, went on all the big TV stations, and then the police kind of indicted her, and she was taken right off everything again. This is a civil hearing because she's suing her husband's estate for money, and it's very complicated, and I'm not a specialist. We have Iris in the chat who helps me out trying to understand all this, but she wants money, is what I gather. I never said Iris is bad. Did I say?
No.
Well, everyone is. Most of all, I am derailing everything. So
And the buy-sell.
I think with respect to the assignment, the distinction here is that if he just went ahead and sold it to a third party, then you have a third party purchaser who, presumably took for value, took for consideration, and therefore would have all the defenses and rights associated therewith. Frankly, if it was sold to a third party, I don't know that our argument remains the same or stands here today, right? Under these circumstances, though, Eric essentially transferred the interest to himself as the trustee, right? So it's different. Our position is different and distinct than a sale or a transfer to some sort of a third party.
Well, he transferred it to himself as trustee, pursuant to an agreement that maintained an interest in Kouri, albeit 25% of which he had the moment before it. But if he can choose the sales price, how is it effectively?
And I guess I'm not sure. Could you explain the 25% versus 75%? Maybe I'm missing something
There are
here.
4 beneficiaries.
Okay, understood.
Under that table's version of it. There's
Gotcha.
one under yours. There's $2 million at stake. So
Gotcha.
he can sell it for $500K. Why can't he do what he did?
Again, it's a fair question, Your Honor. And I think it's not necessarily in terms of what he could or couldn't do, but the fact that he transferred it to the trust or himself as the trustee, and the prenup specifically imposes those rights and obligations to successors and assigns. And so in that capacity, we would say that it's still enforceable as to the defendant in this case.
Could Eric have donated his business interest in C&E during his lifetime to a charitable organization? Come to the spitting hypothetical. Come to the conclusion that, you know what, I'm done working. This has been great. I'm gonna go be a hunting guide. I'm gonna donate my interest in C&E, this thing I worked so hard to build, to the church, to the nonprofit organization that maintains open lands for hunters and fishermen. Could he have done that?
I think potentially he could have. Do I think that there are still potential claims that arise therewith? Yes. And I mean, it's difficult to.
What would the claim be?
Well, I mean,
It's his sole and personal property by the 4 corners of the prenup. He can do whatever he wants with it during his lifetime, right? If it increases in value, she has no, Kouri has no claim to that increase during his lifetime. I guess what I'm trying to ask is why doesn't that give him the full authority to alienate it during his lifetime?
right. And again, it's I think it's a fair question, and it's difficult to state in these hypotheticals, particularly when, given the amount of work that's gone into this business, the idea of donating it to a charitable contribution, sure, it's possible, right? But again, at the end of the day, we think it comes back down, if you look at the plain terms, yes, it is unequivocally during his lifetime, it is going to be his sole and separate property with this single contingency, correct? And we believe that contingency occurred in this place, and that the transfer to the trust, the effective transfer to himself, perhaps may be the only circumstances where we would be bringing the claims that we're bringing, but don't think that undermines the validity of those claims.
I understand your position.
Thank you, Your Honor.
But he's being on the hot seat for a bit. Counsel.
Yes, Your Honor.
Start with the last issue. Well, actually, no, start with the voidable transfer.
The voidable transfer.
Yeah.
Well, Your Honor, we agree that the problem with the voidable transfer, it doesn't fit the facts of this case. It doesn't fit. A voidable transfer is a remedy for creditors to get at assets that debtors have tried to put outside their reach. As you mentioned, and we've cited in 75-7505, it's very clear under the trust code that assets held in a revocable trust are subject to the claims of the creditor during the grantor's lifetime.
What about the section 203?
Well, so 203, now that and I do think it's important to look at the difference between section 202 and 203. To remind ourselves, on section 202, that's where you have a claim that arose either before or after the transfer. I don't see how Kouri could have possibly had a claim before the transfer, but we could talk about that.
Prenup was in existence before the transfer.
Right, but what claim did she have?
Well, it would be the contingent claim that by this transfer, you are undermining that which you agreed to in the prenup. Now, we have a whole colloquy I just got into with Mr. Nate about the fact that you could have done it anyways, but
Exactly.
the act provides a different overlay.
It does, but I think it's an important point to talk about whether she was a creditor, whether she had a claim. And if so, was
Just to warn everybody, I just took some muscle relaxers from my back, so if I started to sound like a Swede, it's because they're working.
Uh-oh.
It could be fun.
her claim before or after the transfer? I think that,
Another
and we
9 hours
do
of being-
take the position that she wasn't a creditor, that she didn't have a claim. But let's take your hypothetical. Before the transfer to his trust, let's say he sells it for $500,000 to
You could just go to the gym. I see your mother every day. Also at the gym.
third party. Does Kouri have a claim?
Maybe the 500K, I think that's what Mr. Davis
Well-
says, that's traceable at this point.
The question,
Okay, so he's breaking the prenup by moving the interest in the house into the trust. Okay, well, yeah. I was doing leg presses and then my back just seized up. So hopefully it will just be a one-day thing, so I can be ready for Dave's stream Sunday morning for me, 3 a.m.
3 a.m.
is though, did he breach the prenup? And I think, as Your Honor noted, he could have done anything with it. So our position is there was no breach of the prenup because Eric wasn't obligated to keep it in place for her. If Kouri was worried that he might do something like sell it, she could have negotiated that as a part of the prenup. She didn't.
But in fairness, and without naming names, I'll give you an
True
example.
story.
It's called it.
Not the farting and mumbling.
Are you sure?
Husband transfers an asset.
I once spoke German to my cat because I was a bit on pills. It can get weird. That's why I'm not drinking when I'm on those pills.
To a third party, gets a divorce, reacquires the asset. It looks like a sham. The act applies to that.
Everyone else uses the
Absolutely.
microphone, but not
If you can meet the elements.
Judge Hung.
I know.
Why wouldn't, I mean, we can't say that the act doesn't apply categorically. If, for example, spinning a hypothetical here, Eric transfers his business interest in C&E to a third party for $100 or $1. After his death, his estate, the trust, maybe his kids reacquire it for $1. Starts to look a little more shady. And so that doesn't happen here, I acknowledge. But in terms of trying to determine whether
No
or
pills.
not the act can apply.
I only take
to
pills with
effects
pills.
in this case, why don't we have to contend with section 203?
Well, let's look at 203. We don't think she's a creditor under 202 or 203. And the reason is because the prenup did not restrict Eric in any way from disposing of his asset. And that governs. If he had disposed of it, she wouldn't have a claim. So we don't think she's a creditor. That's our position. But let's look at 203. 203 applies for claims that arise before the transfer, not after. And if the transfer was done without reasonably equivalent value and you're insolvent. Well, first of all, when you make a transfer to your revocable trust, well, and particularly in this case, the trust says all of those assets, every penny, are available for Eric's use. They cannot show it wasn't for reasonably equivalent value, because if he had, By the way, what did he have? He had a business that's worth at least $2 million. He has a house that's worth $1.7 million. The first mortgage was $260,000. The second mortgage, which we think was fraudulently obtained with fraudulent powers of attorney, was $250,000. But even if you take those together, that's $500,000 on a $1.7 million house. Plus, Katie filed a declaration that says he's got other funds, stocks, vehicles. I don't think this is a close call on solvency, but they clearly can't meet the burden of proof on insolvency. But in any event, Your Honor, there's clearly, if you take what we just talked about, $2 million for the business, $1.7 million for the house, minus maybe $250,000 for a mortgage, you're well over $3.5, potentially $4 million. Every penny of that in the trust is available for Eric. How can that not be reasonably equivalent value? It went from one place where he could use it to a trust where he can still use it.
So in terms of the ruling you request on plaintiff's motion for summary judgment on their seventh claim for relief, you didn't file a cross motion on that claim?
We didn't.
Is it just deny the motion, or is it rule as a matter of law that the transferred or revocable trust is outside the purview of the 202 claim and deny the motion, the remainder of the motion?
Yes, the latter, Your Honor. You know, as it goes in summary judgment motions, you may not file a motion, but if the ruling comes down, it's law of the case, it effectively disposes of the claim. And so,
Disposes of that part of the claim.
yes. Yeah, so we don't think she's a creditor before or after the transfer. We certainly don't think there's any actual intent to delay, hinder, or defraud because the assets are there available to creditors during Eric's lifetime. They can't show that it was without reasonably equivalent value because all of the assets that were there before were still available for Eric's benefit, and they can't show that he was insolvent. In fact, it looks like he wasn't insolvent. He was solvent by somewhere approaching $4 million on the plus side. So for all of these reasons, we think that the summary judgment motion on voidable transfer should be denied.
Okay. Talk to me about the interplay between the terms of the prenup and then the events of the buy-sell agreement.
I'm sorry, but her female lawyer, she looks like the evil stepmom from Snow White.
She does.
Could we get a mirror in front of her and her hear if she's going to talk to it? Yeah, we could do a live stream of Søren dancing on Legos. Maybe that should be my new. I need something to stream, and then I just throw 100 Lego bricks into his house and give him a blindfold on.
Oh my God, I love you too. I would love it if you really did like pranks on each other, like for real.
If we what?
Like pranked each other, like you go down to his house and like throw some Legos on his floor.
Well, he lives on the first floor, and I have to go through the front door, which is locked. So it's a problem, and he never comes out because he's a recluse. He lives. Everything is dark, and he just lives there. He got he got the pizzeria on speed dial, and they're not allowed to come when it's daylight.
Oh.
Yeah, as long as the trust is still paying off the mortgage, cheapest it's working. Mortgage. Jamie, help me.
What?
Mortgage.
Mortgages?
Mortgages. It couldn't be a problem. Then why should she have any access to anything as long as the bills are being paid? But are we sure it's being paid? someone broke Jamie. It's probably Søren.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a little German coming out. Weiter mit dem Video.
In June 25, 2019, and the assignment in February.
Okay,
Your position, I think, is you do whatever you want.
he can do whatever he wants. I don't know that the prenup could have been more clear on the fact that this was his, not
Agreed.
hers. No part of it was hers. He could do anything he wanted with it. That seems to be crystal clear. Then we get to section 2, sub 1, under the title separate property of husband, that says the expenditure of commingled marital funds even on said business. Because they're thinking, well, what if you spend commingled funds? The expenditure of commingled marital funds on said business shall not give wife a claim or right to an interest in said business, or alter the separate ownership of said business, except that if husband should die prior to wife while the two were lawfully married, husband's partnership interest in said business shall transfer to the wife. Well, Your Honor, Eric simply did not own a partnership interest at the time of his death. It was owned by the trustee of his trust in his fiduciary capacity. It so happened that he was the trustee of his trust, but legally that makes no difference. The business interest was not owned by Eric individually when he died. It is not a distinction without a difference. It is a distinction that Utah law recognizes. If that business interest had been owned by him individually when he died, that would have had to pass through probate. It did not. Nothing in the prenup restricted Eric's ability to sell, transfer, or assign his interest before he died. And again, the prenup makes clear that the membership interest was Eric's sole separate property to do with as he pleased. It seems to me, Your Honor, what Kouri wants is the court to ignore well-established principles of trust law that allow someone to transfer legal title to assets from themselves individually to a trustee. Your Honor, it wouldn't, let me use an example. If Eric, instead of transferring it to his revocable trust, had decided to create a limited liability company, Eric Richins LLC, and he's the sole member, would we be having this discussion? Maybe. They would have to say, well, okay, but what would they have to do to get there? They'd have to say, well, for that, you can just Your Honor, just ignore. You have to ignore the corporate structure of the LLC because he's a single member. Well, that's not the law. An LLC is a separate legal entity, and the law recognizes it as such. It's really not much different with a trust. A trustee of a trust holds the legal title for the benefit of the beneficiaries. Real property, and in fact, in this case, the real property transferred from being owned by Eric to being owned.
Yeah, it's super bad, but maybe it's just me, and I know laws are different in different countries and rules are different, but being able to give your ownership away in a business to a trust that's you're the only beneficiary of, to hide it, let's say in a divorce. I know you can do it. I know it's probably legal, but to me, that's still that's smart thinking. But it's kind of, and again, I know what she probably allegedly did, but just as a matter of, yeah, I think it's kind of like hiding assets in clear view, but still, that you can just sign over everything you own into a trust because you have a prenup that says something. Oh, here's the expert.
Hello. Hey, this is interesting.
Really?
This is stuff that I do like a lot.
And explain.
Okay, so they have a prenuptial agreement, which says if we get separated, we're going to keep these properties separated from each other. But if I happen to die, then everything goes to whatever, except for this partnership. If I have a partnership in this business, then that's going to go to her, right? And
Yeah.
then he forms this trust. And so we actually I had litigated something very similar to this not that long ago. So he has a trust, but he's the trustee. Now in Michigan, you and specifically for IRS purposes, you cannot be the trustee of an irrevocable trust. Like I have a trust right now. All my stuff goes into a trust. I'm the trustee of my trust while I'm still alive. But it's not irrevocable. And for tax purposes, for legal ownership purposes, I own it all because it's not irrevocable. Because otherwise, then you would have people putting stuff into a trust as tax shelters, but still have full control over it. So the IRS did away with all that. And the state laws did too. So if you are the sole trustee of a trust that you establish, it's as if the trust is disregarded and you just own everything outright. And until you die, then it becomes irrevocable, and then the trustee position passes to somebody else. So what this guy's trying to argue makes sense on a piece of paper, but not when you take into consideration the fact that as a public policy, the trust doesn't exist. It's just we pretend it doesn't exist. It's owned by him and controlled by him. So under that theory, and again, I don't know what the state laws are, but under that theory, this guy's wrong right now, and the partnership interest should pass to the wife. The prenup, assuming the prenup, well, at least it contemplates the trust, right? It talks about it, stuff like that. So whether it's before or after, it seems to be enforceable, and so it contemplates the trust in that regard. In the ownership of this property. So this is a very nuanced kind of legal estate planning, family law, prenup argument, but I'm finding it very interesting.
Yeah, and again, I know nothing, but the thing about hiding your ownership in a trust while you're alive for tax purposes, and then you could maybe be because it's the prenup said that that it was she was the beneficiary of the ownership if he should die. But again, if he puts it into the trust and they get separated, it's not a part of. Then he could keep it away from the prenup agreement. She can't have anything to do with it. And I think
if he put it into a trust, and appointed someone else as a trustee, and then made it essentially an irrevocable trust, he could do it that way. But then you have somebody else, not you, that's in charge of the assets, right? So a lot of people don't like that idea because then there's some third party that you have to go to ask for money or ask for control of something. And it's really the trust then is the owner. The trustee is like the CEO of the company, right? That directs what the company is going to do. And you're just essentially an employee saying, please, sir, can I have some more? And people don't like to give up that control. So a lot of people don't do that. But like me right now, everything is funded in the trust. So if I die, it locks it. It becomes irrevocable. And only the trustee can manipulate stuff. But while I'm alive, it's as if the trust doesn't exist under the laws. And I have to imagine that's most states handle it that way. So if the state handles it that way, then this guy's wrong.
And Iris is working with this kind of law too, and she says the main issue is there a law regarding her right to the interest upon foul play, like her killing him?
That's a completely separate issue.
But again, she hasn't killed him yet because she hasn't
killed him yet, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, but that's true, right? So
legally,
you know,
hasn't.
Legally, she hasn't killed him yet. Now we have, like anything in law, you have to take into consideration a bunch of different factors all at different times. So, right now we first have to establish whether or not the prenuptial agreement is enforceable. whether or not the trust agreement is enforceable. If we say both of those things are enforceable, then okay, what roles do we have to play and what authority does each document have? Then we can sort that out. And that's what he's trying to argue. But he's missing the point that while the trust is enforceable now, it was essentially a disregarded entity while he was alive. And so upon his death, because he didn't transfer everything first, then she would get the ownership in or the equivalent of the partnership ownership at the time of his death.
No,
And so
he transferred the ownership before his death because there was this talk
yeah, but he
about,
transferred it to a disregarded entity.
yeah, and it's a revocable trust. So
Well, even more so. I mean, it's not only is it disregarded by an act of law, it's disregarded by his own words. Because if it's revocable, then that's even more argument in favor of this is a disregarded entity. So let's assume this guy's wrong, right? And she should get ownership of it. Then we go into the next issue, which is, well, if she unalived him, is there a statute on point? There probably is, that says you are not entitled to any beneficiary recipients' rights if you unalive the person. So
kind of like the Alex Murdaugh thing. It would be his kid who were the beneficiary.
what state is this?
Idaho
Utah.
or Utah.
You okay? So I see Iris says disregarded when alive, but upon his death, trust controls. Yes, however, the question is when the prenuptial agreement was signed and where everything is owned. Like, so if everything is transferred to the trust, it's still a disregarded entity. So when he signs the prenuptial agreement, whether he signs it before or after, he's acting as though the prenuptial agreement or the partnership interest is still owned by him, because in reality it is. So when you're alive, you can give away, mortgage, encumber, sell all of your property, however you want to do it. But when you're dead, there's no longer a legal entity that can transfer that for you. So you have to either go to the court, open up a probated estate and say, Judge, please allow me to transfer things this way and that way pursuant to a will, or you have to have things automatically transferred. And so the question I think Iris is getting at is, did the ownership, the partnership ownership, transfer automatically to the trust upon his death? And that's going to be a question for that particular court and under the particular laws. I don't think it would in Michigan, but it might in Utah or wherever they are.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I just want to answer this for Iris. You can unalive someone and then benefit from that unaliving. You just have to do it properly, so you're not caught. Because
yeah,
again,
right. You can't be declared the cause of the unaliving, right?
yeah. So if Søren had any money and made a will, and he accidentally drowned while I was on a live stream, I could benefit from that as long as the cameras by the beach didn't pick me up doing it. That's again, it's legalese.
Yeah.
But
No, I see Iris, and Iris, you're a paralegal, I believe. And so you're almost a lawyer, but that's that's why this is going to court, right? Because different lawyers, different parties have different positions on this because it's very much a gray issue. So why not a testamentary trust? Well, you could do a testamentary trust, but that doesn't exist until after you're dead. Plus, you also have to go through probate in order to establish a testamentary trust. So one of the things about trusts is that you don't have to go to court, right? And the other thing is that you can kind of decide when and how people get assets as opposed to just all at once. So if you're trying to avoid court, you're trying to do it like in Michigan, we have inventory fees. So depending on the size of the state, you had to just random fees that you have to pay to the court and things like that, cost of litigation. So you try to avoid all that. You could do a testamentary trust, but it's if you're going to go through the effort of drafting a will, you might as well just draft a trust.
Yep, and we don't use if you have a lot of money, but again, most things will go through the courts because they are going to get their taxes. So I think it's fascinating to see this because in the beginning they said there was no all of the case law they were using was from out of state. So it's obviously not really been tested before in Utah. So
Yeah, and so you would use out-of-state cases if you don't have a state case on point, and you could use a bunch of other state cases, not to bind the court, but to say, hey, for example, Michigan does it this way, Florida does it that way, Arizona does it this way, and they're all agreeing with each other, and therefore we should probably do the same thing. That's why they're using out-of-state cases. It might be a novel issue for Utah. And it's a very interesting case. I would love to jump in on this and start diving into it. I like these kind of novel, sort of weird, tricky cases, right? Everyone could do a black and white case.
yeah, and the interesting thing is really because again, murder is murder. You just have to figure out who did it and how they did it, and it's always Colonel Mustard in the living room with the chandelier. But this is you have to put your big boy lawyer pants on for this one because
Yeah, no,
there's
you
a lot
really
of gray
do.
areas.
Yeah, there are a lot of gray areas, and the question is then when did it transfer? I don't like his argument though, because his argument presupposes that the trust was irrevocable and it was set off prior to his death, which isn't the case. I know Ira said, but once he dies, the trust becomes irrevocable. That's fine, but that's not the way this guy seems to be arguing it. He seems to be arguing it as while he was alive, he handled it as a separate legal entity. And that might be the law in Utah. I don't know. So maybe he's arguing it right. That argument wouldn't fly in Michigan, though, because in Michigan, the way he had his trust set up, it would essentially be a disregarded entity. Think of many people in the chat might be familiar with limited liability companies, right?
Yeah, he just
So you
used
get to
LLC as he used and said instead of doing this trust maneuver, he could just have an LLC with only him in it. And the judge said, well, then it would be still be claimed by the Kouri Richins side of the trial. And he said,
right.
yes, but
Yeah, no, that wasn't the point I was going to make, though. The point is with an LLC, the liability protections that you get with a corporation are there. So if someone wanted to sue you, right, they can't sue you personally with an LLC. They can only sue the company. However, the tax consequences for the company go through the company and straight to you. So you're personally responsible for any taxes. And the LLC is essentially a disregarded entity, even though you're running it like a corporation. It has employees. You're doing everything completely separate. It has its own bank accounts. It doesn't exist from a legal standpoint for taxes. It goes straight to you individually for taxes, and that's how he's operating this trust before he dies, because it's revocable, because he can change it whenever. He can put stuff in it, take it out, do whatever he wants with it. The laws generally say we're going to pretend it doesn't exist while you're alive, that it only goes into effect upon your death.
But not all of that, but many YouTubers use the LLC, right?
Yeah, LLCs are really nice because if you have a small operation, then, well, like MLS Law Show is an LLC, but it's owned by my law firm, which is a corporation. So the corporation is completely separate from me, and the LLC, the tax consequences flow through the LLC to my corporation. The liability, though, if someone wanted to sue MLS, it stops at MLS. They're not going to hit my firm. So that's why I do it that way.
It's kind of like with the Ricada stuff. It's his Texas company that's being sued, not him in where's he? Michigan, where he's living, or I can't remember where
Yeah.
he's living. So he'll be sued under Texas laws. Then not isn't he? I believe he's in Michigan,
I thought he was in Minnesota.
Minnesota. Okay, yeah, it's the
He's
same.
Minnesota, yeah.
They eat cheese.
So,
and fries.
yeah, a little bit. We have lakes. The yeah, ISIS. Oh, hi, Aries, Apple. I see
I'm
you in
not
the chat.
sure.
Hello.
And
I don't know how to
hey,
pronounce
Dave
it.
from Facebook. I've had him up for some time.
So I just wanted to pop in. I'm on my way to Lowe's, but I wanted to pop in and because this is very interesting, and I'm digging this, and hopefully the chat can follow along on the legal issues. At least Iris is in there talking
Yeah,
about it.
she's translating it. Normally we have translation from Spanish to English, and today we have from lawyer to normal.
Yeah.
That
And as a
works.
paralegal, she knows how to translate because lawyers just speak, lawyers speak. They go
We
to
do,
school to
that's
learn
how
that
we
stuff.
Well, I try to explain it for people. Hopefully maybe the issues now, if someone was confused as to what exactly was going on here, is a little more understandable going forward.
And I asked
What
you
type
guys,
of wood chipper am I getting?
is it the big or the small X-wing you're building tomorrow, or the day after tomorrow, Saturday? No, tomorrow your time.
It's not the X-Wing, it's the Razor Crest from Mandalorian. I got a little baby Yoda too.
Oh my god.
Oh,
Excited.
I thought I thought you sent me a picture of the X-wing, but what do I know?
Oh, I think that was that's what the expert I think is building, or at least he sent to me. The X-Wing.
Okay, I was looking
Yeah.
at this just because we were watching this great case from Texas the other day, and I thought
Ooh,
under the Eiffel
that's not
Tower.
Texas though.
Oh.
Oh yes, but you gotta do a little Darren and was it Darren, right? Darren and Jennifer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, you
So,
gotta do a
but-
little Darren and Jennifer underneath kissing.
that's I don't know if they have it locally, but I thought that could be funny because I really don't build Legos, and what kind of I'm not a big fan of Star
Can't you
Wars.
just like go to your Department of State and request Lego sets?
No, sadly not. We're giving it away to all the crazy foreigners who think it's nice. But at least this could be fun. Making stuff from there's not that many Lego architectures, but I saw
Lego
the Paris
architectures
one.
are nice.
Yeah, I saw the Paris one and the White House, but the White House is like it's a couple of $100. So this is $80 or something
That's-
like that.
Well, it looks like it's well. Are you guys similar to Sweden, like dollar for dollar or crown for crown or
No.
whatever the hell you call it?
I think they are. I think they are like we pay 0.8 or 0.85 for one of their crowns.
Okay, so my I mean, over the last couple of years, anyways, it's been about like move the decimal point one space to the left to convert from Swedish krona to US dollar. Essentially, 10-1 is really a good basis. So if you
Yeah.
guys are
We use
similar.
six between. When I was younger, it was always 5.5, and now it's 6.5 krona per dollar. So
okay,
we say I would say this is roughly 85 bucks.
Make it big. I want to see it better.
That's what she said.
Jesus Christ.
I can't pick it more than this. Oh, you want to do this?
Full screen.
Yeah, relax. I'm on muscle relaxes. I can't.
other than divorce, what do you think my wife would do if I bought a Lego set, streamed this to our main TV, and sat down and started building? I don't know. My wife is cool. My wife buys me Legos for like Christmas and birthdays and stuff, and then sits and builds them with me. She's all excited for the Lego build idea the stream idea. So I don't know. Get yourself a better wife, Brandon.
Yeah, and everyone should go and join MLS Law Show. And if you sign up and pay him a small monthly fee, you can join the Discord. I wouldn't recommend joining the Discord because Feral Housewife is in there, C-Swept is in there, Jamie is in there.
Yeah, they're sort of bringing down Discord. I might have to do something else for membership now.
Whatever.
We can't go in there. I can't expose new members to that.
They love it. They love it. Don't let them fool you.
Actually, so I have a friend who is, she's a bartender, but she's like world renowned, like wine competitions and stuff. During the vid, we did some mixology classes virtually with her through the yacht club and stuff like that. And so I thought I think it's going to be September 29th. We're going to actually do a mixology class. We're going to do a couple, 3 drinks. We're going to get the ingredients ahead of time, list of the ingredients and the things that you need. And I thought that would be fun if you guys are interested. And I thought I'd probably do that members only.
Feral
She's got
is out of
one.
control.
Feral is absolutely out of control.
Well,
Paige knows.
then we know all about you because I joined last night at 10 p.m. and at 10:15 I was blushing because those ladies, they seem prim and proper on the outside, but when they are released in the wild, you don't want to be there.
I can only imagine all of us drunk together. That'd be a trip.
Yeah, if you have any good content, you can always come on my channel when I need something to talk about. That's all the time I need something to talk about. Is Dave frozen? Yeah, he looks kind of like a chipmunk sitting there.
He hasn't blinked for like 5 minutes, so yeah.
It's kind of like one of those. What's the annoying chipmunks who made Eurodance covers back in the 90s?
Elvin and the Chickmunks.
Yeah. Oh my God. That was not good. It's very easy to get drunk together, but today we are on muscle relaxers, so no drinking.
It does need to happen, Farrell. Sometime.
Yeah, but Jamie doesn't leave her house, so how could she get anything to mix?
I know.
Can you Uber Eats 3 bottles of vodka and some cranberry juice?
I got a bunch of wine in my fridge.
You can't really mix wine. Wine is not great in a mixology class.
My favorite is tequila.
Let me tell you, 20 minutes ago, my back hurt like hell, and I could speak all the English words. Right now, my back is okay, and I'm stumbling.
Uh-oh.
So, yeah, let's go to Jamie's house.
Yeah, come on over.
Don't say that on the internet.
No one knows where I live, though. David does now.
Yeah, and Farrell does.
She swears she hasn't stalked me yet, so leave it alone.
Yeah, everyone knows Farrell knows. But before Twisted shows up, we can finish this.
By the trustee of his trust. Again, the fact that he was his own trustee doesn't make a difference.
So when I look at the list of relief you're asking for, I think it's different than what you're arguing in favor of. It seems to be what you're arguing in favor of is a ruling as a matter of law that the assignment by Eric of his business interests to his trust in February 2021 was effective and was not a breach of the prenup.
Right.
Full stop. Right.
Yes, but footnote.
Yeah.
Even if it were a breach of the prenup, who's her claim against? It's not against the trust. It would be against Eric. And I'm here to tell you, Your Honor, they have not brought a claim against Eric Richins for
Well,
breach
no,
of the
but
prenup.
I think what they're saying is the assignment is valid because he didn't have the authority to do it, because he already agreed and they're going to hold some interest or hold the going business.
Well, Your Honor, having an assignment or a contract or any other agreement not be effective is a completely different story than breaching it. There's no suggestion that it's not effective. It could be a breach.
Pause for a second. You keep taking on more water than you need to, and I don't understand why. For
Yeah, I don't
example,
know why he
you're
had a
asking
coat
me to
on.
rule
It's like
that
fucking hot out.
trust to proceeds shall be distributed in accordance with the terms of the trust agreement. Lord knows what kind of equitable or other fiduciary duty arguments are sitting out there. Why would I make that ruling today? Isn't the only thing that's before me today is, does the trust hold the $2 million?
Farrell, I have a nice chat. Please don't call it stupid.
Period? Or is, no, the $2 million is in his estate?
We are perfectly satisfied with the ruling that the trust owns the $2 million.
Okay. And then the parties litigate whatever arguments they have beyond that after today, right?
Fair enough.
By the briefing, less than the introductions to the briefs, I think that's the proper result today. Do you see it differently?
No, we'd be satisfied with that result.
Okay.
Right. Farrell called you all stupid.
I was not a party to this when these briefs started, so I will keep it short. There is an extra avenue I think we need to look at, though, the facts of which have arisen since the original briefing. And it's this. Eric died on March 4th, 2022, and under Utah Probate Section 75-3-803, Kouri had a year from the date of his death or 6.
Good morning, atheist and. Oh, there's an error in the YouTube. It happens sometimes. Some people just use it as an excuse to call the chat stupid, but I know, Joshi, you would never do that. You're a nice person. Well, I don't know. Again, I'm sorry. Yeah, they want 2 million. Cheapest they're working now. They want 2 million. I think set aside in the trust or something like that. Well, sometimes you have to pay extra for that.
60 days from receiving written notice or notice of publication to present a claim to the estate. While she did initially timely file a notice of claim in the estate case, that claim was solely based on the allegations made in the trust complaint. There are no personal allegations against Eric. These claims were then disallowed by the PR on April 12th, 2023. Utah Code Section 75-3-804 subsection 2 requires that a proceeding be commenced within 60 days after the personal representative has mailed the disallowance of claim. To date, there is no proceeding that's been initiated and the time to do so has passed. So,
This has not been briefed.
It has not, Your
I just wanna
Honor.
make sure I understand, to see where things are headed. So,
If Kouri doesn't
the
have a
moment Eric dies, right, the business.
Good morning.
Aw, there he is.
We have been waiting for you. And no, you're totally wrong. 38 minutes and 45 seconds. And we had a great explanation about the law in Michigan in that time. So if you could just get out of bed in time, we would just keep on rolling. Right. Yeah, he did change the beneficiaries in his will, and she tried to change it back. But this is his ownership that was placed into a trust with the kids, and it was made around the time where they were separated, kind of talking about getting divorced because he allegedly had an affair, or I don't know if it's allegedly. I saw some emails she sent to the court because she was asked about going on trips to Mexico and stuff like that. And she talked about that even though they were kind of separated at the time, she never left the house. She only moved to another room for a day to show him what he would miss. And I'm sorry, ladies, if you only move for a day, the guy haven't even begun to go through all his underwear. You have to leave for a longer time before he even noticed you are gone. So I'm not sure I believe that one. So no, of course no one would know without Farrell. But Farrell, she can take a little jab here or there. She knows that we're just fooling. We love her. Or Lefty loves her. Kind of in the I love you way. Go do your prep work. We won't be going so much longer. There's only 13 minutes left, so a couple of hours. I'm a bit stoned, yeah. We can't smoke weed, but I can take these pills.
Interest, the buy-sell proceeds,
That's
not
good.
liquidated yet, are either in his personal estate or in the trust.
Yes,
Your side of the room says in the trust.
they are in the trust.
The trust gets administered according to its terms. Kouri doesn't have to make any claims, right?
She does have to make a claim if she's going to contend a fraudulent transfer, because Eric has to be the debtor. So on all sections of,
But if it's in his estate, this is where you're telling me some deadlines with harsh results.
that's correct. If she didn't make a claim, but in the estate, and pursue it within 60 days of receiving that notice of disallowance, those claims are now barred.
When you say claim, is that her argument under the act?
It would be a claim that she has any claim against Eric, right? Whether it's breach of the prenuptial agreement, breach of the duty of good faith and fair dealing.
I see.
So without those, a claim on that she owns half the house. Without those, there can be no debtor-creditor relationship, Your Honor. And every section of the Utah Voidable Transaction Act requires a debtor-creditor relationship as a predicate to asserting the claim.
With the, I'm gonna put you on the spot here, and I'll understand if you're not prepared
Yep.
to answer. This is new. I'm not gonna make any rulings on this today, Mr. But if the house is in the trust, we just apply the trust, right? Subject to, acknowledge there's a Slater statute issue sitting out there.
She can make a claim as to whether she's a tenant in common with the trust.
Right.
But to the extent she has some claim against Eric as a debtor, she's lost that.
Okay. You're gonna have to brief that. I can't rule today.
That's fair.
Talk to me about the arguments that were anything out of my way.
I think that the argument, there's a valid transfer here. To the extent that that transfer did something that the prenup, I think on the face, the prenup allows for that. To the extent that that violated, I think the only issue would be a duty of good faith and fair dealing. As to Eric or some other frustrates the purpose of the contract, those claims were against Eric personally, and they need to be brought against him personally. I don't know if you can, I don't think that claim goes against the trust, because the trust would be the same as a third-party transferee for purposes of this. She didn't have a vested interest, and Eric could do what he wanted with this. And so when he transferred it to the trust, it was a valid transfer. It sits in the trust unless she can avoid it somehow. She can't avoid it through the Fraudulent Transfer Act because she's not a debtor.
Because the condition precedent hasn't kicked in yet?
Because, yes,
But the
Because he's-
definition of claim talks about a contingent claim.
can't be contingent. At best, she had a contingent unliquidated claim that can now never be liquidated because it's time barred.
Okay, I appreciate this.
Yep.
All right, let's just go around and take a little more time here.
Can I just take 1 minute, Your Honor, very briefly?
Sure.
Is that okay?
Yeah. Take your moment. You can take as many as you need.
I'll keep it brief. So just with respect to the argument that was just made, the claim was disallowed, and then we did file a lawsuit against the estate. That is case number 230500230. It's also in front of you as well. Has not been served yet, but that action has been commenced, and in order to preserve, the claims that have just been served. So I want to make sure that was clear for the record that after the disallowance, we did file a lawsuit within the statutory time period.
Okay. Anything else?
No, that's it. Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Tracy.
No, Your Honor. As far as the issue about the claim, I don't think that's before the court today. We'll deal with that in the other case, I think.
All right. All right, the procedural posture of today's hearing bears noting. We're here on 3 motions for partial summary judgment. No matter what I do today, it does not dispose of all claims between the parties. There will be more litigation after today. With respect to plaintiff's motion for summary judgment on plaintiff's 7th claim for relief, which requests a ruling as a matter of law that Eric Richins' transfer of his assets into his trust should be avoided, and that Kouri is entitled to exercise any and all remedies, including those available to her under the Utah's Voidable Transactions Act, with respect to those assets. The motion is denied for the following reasons. First, with respect to the portion of plaintiff's 7th claim for relief that is brought under Section 202 of Utah's Voidable Transaction Act, the court ruled as a matter of law that because a transfer into a revocable trust does not place assets beyond the reach of a creditor, that a Section 202 claim does not apply as a matter of law to a situation where assets have been transferred into a revocable trust. Second, with respect to any portion of plaintiff's 7th claim for relief that is asserted under Section 203 of Utah's Voidable Transactions Act, the motion is respectfully denied because plaintiff has not yet carried her burden of showing through undisputed facts supported by evidence in the record the insolvency and or failure to receive reasonably equivalent value elements of that claim. Therefore, plaintiff's motion for summary judgment on plaintiff's 7th claim for relief, docket 241, is denied. Plaintiff's motion for partial summary judgment, which is docket number 7, and defendant's motion for partial summary judgment, which is docket 249, are related. Plaintiff asked for a ruling as a matter of law that Kouri is the sole legal and equitable owner of the business interest, otherwise known as the $2 million in buy-sell proceeds, that the trust holds no interest right or title to or in the business interest, and that Kouri is the sole and proper recipient and owner of the business interest and any proceeds that are derived from the liquidation of that business interest. Again, the $2 million of the buy-sell proceeds that are currently being held in the court's trust account. Conversely, defendant seeks a ruling as a matter of law that Cini's operating agreement prevented the transfer or pledge of the business interest, that the prenuptial agreement with its attempted pledging of the business interest is unenforceable, that the assignment that occurred in February of 2021 is valid, binding, and operated to transfer the business interest to the trust, and that the trust is entitled to receive the proceeds from any sale of the business interest, after which those proceeds shall be distributed in accordance with the terms of the trust agreement. Based upon undisputed facts in the record, the court rules as a matter of law the plaintiff's motion for partial summary judgment, docket number 7, is denied, and defendant's motion for partial summary judgment, docket 249, is granted in part and denied in part as follows. The court rules as a matter of law that the assignment of Eric's interest in C&E in February 2021 to his revocable trust is valid and operated to transfer his interest in C&E to the trust. Moreover, the court rules as a matter of law that the trust is entitled to receive the proceeds, that is the buy-sell proceeds of $2 million related to that business interest. The defendant's motion for partial summary judgment is otherwise denied.
That
Would you like us to
didn't go
prepare,
good
or-
well.
Please. Mr. Nate, the motion is to stay. I appreciate your email. How do you want to handle this?
Your Honor, I think we are in discussions. I think we're close to reaching an agreement. It would be helpful though if we could get something on the calendar down the road, just in case those discussions fall apart.
There's
But
another summary judgment hearing coming, isn't there?
in this case,
No, we have summary judgment motions pending, but Your Honor, stay those until we have this hearing.
Well, the rest is just them arguing about what day they should do this. But it didn't go well for our dear Miss Kouri. She was denied on all her counts so far. So no money. That's too bad. It was only 2 million.
Only 2 million.
Hey, Tweety, coming in right about when we're about to, yeah. I'm not gonna fall asleep. It's, but it's gonna be hard to stay awake. But of course, Jamie's hotness, we have to keep it short and sweet because it's burning up my internet.
Y'all are crazy.
What did I do now? Thank you for stopping by, Elise. Go have fun yourself. I was just looking at
What are you
this.
talking about, Farrell?
Look how many interesting things you can get of the Lego sale. Statue of Liberty. That's in France, I believe. What else do they have? Oh, they had the house the Canadian burned, so they had to paint it white. Oh, Canada. And New York City. Oh, there's so many interesting things in this architecture. I might have to look into that. That could be fun instead of doing all the Star Wars thingies.
You have to get the Eiffel Tower for,
Yeah, but
for the reasons of that trial. Just to have in the background, that would be cute.
yeah, but if we're gonna do more than one Lego stream, I'll have to
Yeah, I'll get more.
have more than one. So, and I've been to New York and I've been to Washington, so, and I've been to Paris, so I can do that. I'm not gonna, because Let's Go Brandon is not tricking me into drinking again.
Tricking you.
What did you see on my YouTube? Where there's no naked people on YouTube, so it couldn't be that. And you couldn't see any of my search history. You don't want to do it.
I'd like to know.
Well, I just commended you Canadians for making the Americans paint the house white in 1814, I believe it was. Yeah, I believe I saw that when I was in New York. I'm not sure Lego is a woke company. It's a great company. They're doing a lot of great stuff for us Danes. So And we really don't have that much woke stuff. There probably you can find something with a, a rainbow or unicorn or something on. It's fine by me. You do you, I do me, and everyone just get along. Birds aren't real, they're twats. Yeah. Well, probably they will, but have you ever been to Alaska? Alaska has vampires going from door to door. So I'll take my chances with Canada. I know Bret Hart is from there, and he could just figure for all of them. Well, they probably did. I haven't seen anything. It's probably just to market to other countries. In Denmark, they really don't. We really don't do stuff like that. We haven't gone that far woke yet. What? Yeah, Canadians are real. It's the Aussies you have to worry about. They're not real.
No.
So, but what do we think about this? Is it too bad the young lady didn't get her 2 millions, or
Mm,
is it okay that?
I'm good with it.
Carol, I can't ignore you because you said earlier that without you, none of us would be on the internet.
Mhm.
So, oh, everyone, go over to Fedorowski's channel as soon as I finish this stream. It's probably great. Not probably, it is great. I know it. I haven't even seen it. I can tell you right now, it's amazing. Yeah, the yellow snow of Canada. Maybe you didn't. Maybe I just heard you that way because, again, I'm on muscle relaxers, so I could be a little bit. And you can see my eyes are starting to droop. And as I said on my drunk stream, when my eyes are drooping, I'm kind of drunk. So, but no, this was interesting to learn something new about trust. And I'm sad David he connection because I learned something new. I learned if I ever get married again, what I should do with my money before she decides that I should have a cocktail of fentanyl and Drano, which she probably would if I know my luck with ladies. So I'm probably too stoned to sing in the ghetto, and it's not on the ghetto; it's in the ghetto. And the poor in the ghetto.
Wow. Yeah, that stuff is a little bit confusing for me, but it's fine.
Yeah, yeah, it's a totally new type of law we have to think about, but
I
three
mean, like,
money.
I don't have a lot of money, so I don't do all those fancy things with it. So it's very like, okay.
It's the great thing about being poor. We don't have all those problems.
Yeah.
Can I share it like this? Yeah. This one. That's a big one. That's what she said. No, Farrell, that wasn't what she said.
That is a big one.
That's a nice one. They have so many. I was out looking at the store yesterday just to see what they have, and it's really changed since I built Legos back in the early days. Before Lego, I think they really started to change when they got the movie rights to a lot of the American movies. Then was it was it Star Wars, the first ones, or Indiana Jones? And then they kind of went really bad for a couple of years and were not close to bankruptcy, but they have to turn the ship around, and then they turned it around and lasered in on this, and have really grown in popularity. All
Mhm.
the Lego, the Ninjago stuff was really big, and the Star Wars stuff was really big. And I'll have to now. If even Valhalla has something, I'll have to go to the store tomorrow. The pressures of being on the internet. Yeah, and it's fascinating to me too, because I normally only do criminal cases. In Denmark, there would be no jury in any cases like this, or any cases like the Amber Heard. No, I can't say that name. I'm after 2 hours. I probably won't get struck. AH and JD, or the one with the fishy candles.
Gwyneth Paltrow.
Yeah, exactly. Gwyneth Paltrow. Fishy candles. Think about it.
I knew exactly what you're talking about.
But we don't have juries in cases like that. It's just a judge who make judgments in those. So we only have juries in criminal cases. So that's it's fascinating to me to learn new stuff, because
Yeah.
after a while you get kind of used to all these criminal things. And again, when you have done, I can remember doing the first case I ever did. It was a simple violence. It's known as a 244 in Denmark, because that's the rule. Some girls had been drunk and beat up another girl because she looked at one of the other's boyfriend or something like that. I can still to this day remember that case. And now I have probably done, I don't know, 30, 40 244 cases. Then we have 245s. That's when it's aggravated violence. They're more fun, but
Mhm.
again, when you're done 10 of them, it's just like, yeah. I had an old judge tell me, I believe it was in my first case, he said, after you have been here a year, if you hear a new excuse, you have to let them go immediately. Because when you've been there a year, you have heard every excuse, and now it's just variants of the same excuse. It wasn't me. I wasn't there. Oh no, those money they were from my girlfriend's new car. That it isn't drug money. It was just and you have to say, yeah, it's always some kind of variation of the same excuse. I wasn't there. It wasn't me. It was the other guy. But still, you get used to it, and then it's interesting to see all these other cases in other parts of the law. So
Yeah, I don't mind it. It's just like the first time I've really ever, I'd have to like watch more of it and learn more of it. But
yeah, and we have Dave. He can help us, but we have Irish. She's the expert.
Mhm.
So I heard that the C word is not allowed to be said on YouTube. So
Why?
because that's, I believe it's either hate speech or bad words, or you can't say the F word, and it's just, yeah, and it's kind of like if you ever came to Denmark and heard, if you could understand our language, we swear all the time. It's just normal part of our vernacular. We're just
Mhm.
saying anything. We put a lot of F's and stuff like that in it, and it's just normal talk to us. And I'm watching these Irish guys who comments on old wrestling shows, and they use the C word all the time because it's just normal to them. So
Yeah.
that's the worst part about YouTube. I have to know what's bad in the US, because I will get trounced by the big YouTube if I say something, and I don't know all the bad words. You know me. I say something, then people start laughing. I don't understand.
I didn't get the see you next Tuesday reference for the longest time.
Hey, Captain, have fun. Thank you for stopping by and saying hi. We're just talking about all the things we can say. Yeah, and our Lego binging, drinking, whatever, fantastic will be Saturday at 9 Eastern Daylight, or as we call it in the real world, 3 a.m. So I'll be going to bed early tomorrow. I probably will have to do it today too to try to acclimate to it. Yvonne? Why? I don't know.
Mm-mm.
Can't you just, you Americans, why do you have to have all this?
I wish we didn't. It's annoying to me.
Yeah, and again, if it was just somewhere I could read the list, if I could know how to do it. And thank you for hitting like. It's nice that you tickled my like button. I like that. Yeah, and you can't say WTF in its full form either. I saw it too, and it's Dave who made a slight mistake. He put 8 Eastern on his first tweet. It has been changed, and on YouTube it's 9 Eastern.
Mhm.
Because I wrote him this morning and said, sorry, at what time? Because if I have to get up and be ready to go at 3 a.m., I probably have to get up at 2 a.m. And if I had to be ready for 2 a.m., I could just go to town and get drunk and then come back and sit down, and that probably wouldn't be smart.
Yeah.
But it will be at 9.
It would be fun. You should do that.
Valhalla will be sleeveless.
He always is.
That's why I can for certain say that Valhalla will be sleepless.
All the ladies better be there.
Yeah, you like to see your man meet with the arms bare,
Mhm.
and it's not because he's been to Taco Bell. I was thinking about I could do some baking because I had no Legos, but then I remembered it's 3 a.m. in the morning, and my neighbor probably won't be happy that I run around in the kitchen and have the oven going. Sleeves are just like pants, overrated. Well, it wouldn't be the first time I've been drunk at 3 a.m. So, but I'm not sure I could even turn on my computer if I had to get drunk till 3 a.m. That's the point where you're thinking, am I going to get a kebab, eat half of it, leave the rest till tomorrow and go home and sleep? Or is it at that time where you're thinking, shots? Yeah, right about now, shots is a really good idea. Oh, I can get 10 shots for 100 Danish. That's a real good idea. And then you wake up the next morning and thinking, why do I smell like licorice and bad mistakes? But that's good. Yeah, it's kind of like socks. I don't like wearing socks. No, Jamie, it's not that. That's not why I don't wear socks.
Sure.
Tell yourself that, but I have to keep it up. The trust fund one. She was denied on all her motions, or the ones he would rule on this day. So no dineros por Kouri Richins. I think that's Spanish.
Say that again.
I said no dinero por, probably not por Kouri Richins. Probably in sandals too. Yeah, you would know, Twisted.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she has her book money, and she was a realtor, and everyone who's ever known any realtor know they have the big monies,
Mm-hmm.
especially the ones from Florida who makes the boys go over and debate with your former boyfriend, current boyfriend, maybe boyfriend at 12 in the morning. That's all the business of realtors. I still, her website was just so generic, and she looked nothing like her pictures.
Nope.
I know about being catfished. No, I don't know because I don't date. I'm too old for that stuff. But I know women catfish a lot on dating profiles. But she catfished on her business profile. Agree. Socks are cruel and unusual punishment. But Jamie, we've been going for almost 2.5 hours. We did really well until Twisted showed up. Then everything, as always, Twisted, he just wants to talk and take the show off the road. But if my back is okay and I can find something stupid from Denmark, or you can find something stupid from Flint, Michigan, or something, should we do a stab your day tomorrow? A short one before I go to bed and get ready for the night stream.
Yeah, we can always do something small.
That's what she said. You
Do
heard it here, son. You have a chance.
Yep. Jesus.
So we will probably set up a stab your day for tomorrow, just shooting the breeze, and it'll be around the same time. Jamie likes to sleep in on Saturdays, so around 9, as the German says.
Sounds
Chat. Get Jamie in the mood. She's a little bit down. Go on Discord and make her laugh. So
I gotta go do a bunch of shit after this, and I'm annoyed.
yeah, just a little something.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I have to go and figure out if I have any money to buy any of the Legos that looks nice. They had the big, what was it? They have a big Camaro. I think it looks really nice, but that's like, how much was it? Like $300 or $400. It was a little bit pricey for a stream when I haven't built Legos for so many years.
Yeah.
So I can buy one of the small ones for $10. That's just a guy you put on a motorbike, and you might have to put the wheels on and see how fast I am. Again, that's a problem I have to work on. But yeah, I'll be fine. I'll figure something out. Hopefully there's instructions, or else I can just blame it on the booze.
Are you guys drinking too?
Valhalla, are we drinking too? I probably won't be drinking at 3 in the morning that much.
Because that'd be funny.
Well, excited Otherans had something to say about pink things last night in the Discord. So, yeah. Some of us will probably be drinking, because Dave has made a little video with some beers in it, but I'm not sure that I'll be drinking at 3 in the morning. I'll probably have some coffee and maybe a small whiskey or something like that, because I will have to go back to bed, sleep for a couple of hours, and then get up again at normal times, because I live in Denmark, where the sun gets up at around 5 in the morning. So it'll be wonderful to go to bed at maybe 5 or 6 in the morning and try to get some sleep. Yeah, become a member over at the MLS Law Show. It's called Lego Law, Life, and Library. But do we have to do law and life? That's boring. Let's just do Legos and libations. I'm on muscle relaxers. No, you don't have to shut down Discord. Just get a Catholic priest in there with a lot of the burning stuff and holy water. Then probably it would be all right.
It's not gonna work.
No,
Just saying.
it's degenerate. Yeah, I know what libations are, but I'm on muscle relaxers, so right now my brain is feeling kind of like a cotton ball. But yeah, again, I'm just talking, trying to get this going. I can see people are leaving, so yeah, it's really needed. And as I have been doing the last couple of days, please go and check out Fedorowski. He makes some really great content, and I'm sure you would like it. Let's get him above 100 subscribers. 100. It should be easy to do. Most of you are probably already subscribed to him, but just go and check him out if you're not. Go give him a little like and a little subscription. It's chillaxing with Fedorowski. It's great. You can do it while you're sitting with your morning coffee, starting the day with a trip through the Norwegian landscapes. It's kind of the best. Keep the stream going, but why? We really don't have anything to talk about right now, so it's hard to see what we should be talking about. Do I have anything lined up I could do? Boom, 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 boom. What do I have in my collection? What time is it? Oh, it's 5:30. Boom, boom, boom. Oh, we could take a look at that Thomas Randolph thing.
Oh yeah.
We didn't do that.
Will you? Because I want to see what this is all about.
Yeah, maybe it's interesting. How old is this? It's a 2-year-old hearing. A man who has been called Black Widower appear in court ahead of his new trial. He has been married 6 times, and 4 of those wives have died. He was sentenced to death in 2017 for the murder of wife number 6, and a Michael Miller who Randolph hired to kill Sharon. However, the Nevada Supreme Court overturned the conviction and ordered a new trial. So the new trial is set to start in next week, and I'm stupid because now I turned off my extra screen. And should we do this, chat? Should we hang around? It's a short one. It's 16 minutes only. Should we do that?
Yeah.
Then get everyone back, because now 20 people left. You should have said that before. So let's see what it is, and then I go visit the spider ninjas out. See this guy, and then I have to put this one on, because now we're going back to this, and I have to move this one so we can see it with this on. We're doing it live. I was thinking about hiding this tomorrow. Everyone, go out and yell at people and say, "Come back, everyone! We're doing this." No sound. No sound.
I've been trying to get with the lawyers, and they tell me that the prison will not let them visit me virtually, will not let them talk to me telephonically. That is what you guys told me, correct?
Jamie.
Is this the guy?
Yeah, and telephonically.
Telephonically.
Is that a word?
Not
Is
that
that a word that has ever been used in the last 5 generations? And we are really going to drag this out, because
No.
Twisted is getting his ADHD. I'm stupid. All the I can't speak. Yeah, this is the hobby. This is the guy who were convicted of offing his 6th wife. 2 of his wives are still alive, and the guy he apparently hired to off that wife. So, and it's only a short hearing. His trial is supposed to start next week. This is the only thing I just found where there was a hearing in it, and I thought we could do it on Saturday, but I guess we're just gonna watch workout videos and nice videos about Denmark tomorrow in Saturday, and then
Is there
we
more stuff
we
about him we can find?
maybe, I don't know, but I'm not sure Mo can be there tomorrow. So
Oh.
great success. We're gonna do it a little bit more. I hope it's I have to stand up and walk a bit. So yeah, he's only 30, but sixth wife, it takes a toll on you. Or else he's just really, really old, because I have never heard that word used. Is it successful if 4 of them are died? I don't know. Yeah, take 2 of those away, and you can get most girls.
Yes, and
Yes.
Your Honor, excuse me, I would address this, Jim Ornos.
So
It's very difficult. I mean, sometimes we try to get a message to them, they won't pass it on. Their policies are making it extraordinarily difficult for us to talk to our client, even on the phone. Now, of course, we can go up there and we're going to do that, but if we have to limit contact to just those times where we can travel to the prison, I mean, obviously that's really going to impact our ability to communicate with our client.
No, I
Okay,
mean,
Judge Jones, my concern is, I was under the impression, because we've had virtual conversations with Tom Erickson, which I guess is no longer on my case. So I know what happens. And I know you signed an order because they took the cuffs off so I can write and stuff. So I know there's an order in place. And I thought the last time we talked, when they took me to Clark County just to do this over the virtual thing here, which was just a total waste of time and exposing me to COVID, I asked you about a standing order and you said you didn't think that was in place, but you had no problem with that. It's beyond me that my lawyers cannot set up a virtual, and maybe they're not shooting straight with me, but this is getting old really fast. So I got a problem, and I got 2 or 3 problems I want to put on the record today. I filed a motion. I don't know if you have got that. I know my lawyers got it. The state should have had it by now. But this has been going on for 14 years. There are motions that my attorneys should be filing in the next 3 weeks. But they have to talk to me first. We've been getting files, but when I say, I need to talk to you, and they say, we need to talk to you, okay, set up a virtual call. There's supposed to be a court order. It doesn't happen. They say, we can't do it. The prison won't let us. Set up a telephonic call. Well, we can't do that. The prison won't let us. So I don't know who's doing what here, but it's my understanding you're the judge. You write the orders. They do what you tell them, not what they want to do. So, and I'm talking not about the lawyers, I'm talking about the prison.
So he's another inmate with bad lawyers and a prison that doesn't listen to him.
Yep.
Or he may, well, let's be fair. If he's packing in his back pocket, that's more important than in his front pocket, if you know what I mean.
It's true.
I don't say she's a, I never seen her with no broke. It's a song I heard sometime.
Oh my God.
Salvador, my friend, don't. Because one wife is enough. Then you'll learn that you can go through life happy and sustained without. Yeah, he's a boon. He's everyone is not listening to him. He's writing all the stuff and saying all the words, and no one listens to him. No telephonics. It's a crazy prison. Well, it's kind of like when we had to believe all females. Now believe all victims.
Is that true?
Yeah, I'm happy without I love you. I'm not a feely person.
Wow.
But sometimes it gets lonely in the dark winters in the north. Maybe the right girl could fix me.
Yep.
Maybe Sal is that woman.
I need contact with my lawyers. My lawyers need to see me. I've been spending a fortune mailing them things. So we're at this point, but they won't let them come out and visit me, even though we've had the COVID vaccine months now. I am sitting in limbo.
You can't say that.
I
word
know
of
what I know, and this case is over. It's just a matter of filing a couple of motions, and the state's not going to be happy with it, but they screwed up and they're going to have to live with the consequence, but nothing's going to get done.
I'm happy we did this without Mo, because she would be shamed by his murder board. She would have murder board envy with this massive murder board behind him, and he's not even using it. I would have drawn spider ninjas on it.
Did you keep that one picture you drew? Did you? Please say
No,
aw, man.
I have my how the guy died picture right now. Can't see anything, but
Yes, that's the one I love.
yeah.
You can't get rid of that ever.
Well, I have to, because there's a lot more murder boarding going on.
I'll send you more boards. Just have a bunch.
I just have to put it in the background. All
Yeah.
my murder boards. Mo is on vacation. She's having a 3-day vacation, so everyone should be happy. But not happy. Everyone should wish her a nice vacation. I should be drinking, not eating pills.
Until my lawyers file this, nothing's going to get done until my lawyers come out and see me.
Well, it's better drawing than what the officers did with their words, because that didn't make any sense, that he was hit in the back of his head while holding a glass that made blunt force trauma lacerations to his arm.
Will you show it again and make it big? Everyone, this is phenomenal.
This is what the state claims happened. A guy was standing outside of a car. The car backed into him while he was holding a cocktail glass, and the car struck him in the back of the head and gave him skull fractures, and somehow made blunt force trauma to his arm that left maybe 10 lacerations. I don't understand it, but again, I'm a baker. I'm not a police officer or criminologist, so what do I know? But this is my rendition of what happened, according to the police. So, yeah, we do have fun on my stream sometimes. And we broke Jamie again.
Or whatever. So I'm asking if my lawyers file a motion to have me transported to one of their offices, because there are literally hundreds of pictures and dozens of hours of video.
I watched a copyright debate this morning on Ricadas with not Lefty Lulls, our favorite WoW player, but Lefty, who was making no sense. But I'll give you permission to take a digital copy and hang it in your house. You have my permission. No, the glass didn't leave any puncture wound. It was a blunt object who left puncture wounds on him. That's why I didn't understand how they believed he got those puncture wounds. The defense claims it was the German Shepherd who made those wounds. The state alleges it's blunt force trauma that left lacerations. I'm not a great English speaker, but I think blunt force means it's kind of like this. It's not sharp. So how can you make lacerations with a blunt force, with a blunt object? We have to watch that trial to find out. What I bake or whatever I feel like, anything but cheesecake. I didn't say I was a great painter or a drawer or anything. I'm a baker. Yeah, it's very lifelike, especially the nose. So yeah. Well, thank you for thank you for watching Fedorowski. He needs a lot more people watching his stuff. It's great. I'm only pre-Picasso. I'm more like an Edvard Munch. If any of you have seen the Scream.
In audio that I have to listen to because I haven't had that yet. It's been 14 years and I haven't seen the whole walkthrough just because I've had 25 lawyers in 14 years, starting my 14th year, and the only two that did anything was my Utah attorneys. So it's really getting frustrating to me because, like I said, I know what I know. I photocopy everything, and this is nonsense. I'm not going to put up with this much longer. So I'm asking if my lawyers file an order asking me to be transported to their office so that I can access the computer and go over the files because they have the files. You would certainly sign that, I would believe, because that's happened in the past. If my lawyers get an order saying that they need to talk to me virtually a couple of hours here, a couple hours there, it's my understanding you've already signed those orders. They're in place. If they're not, they will refile those.
I'm sorry you had to see my drawings then, because I can't draw.
I love your drawings.
It's
That's what
it's
I want
bad.
for my
I know.
birthday next year, Baker.
What?
Print off all your drawings and send them to me.
I can't print off a whiteboard.
Yeah, figure it out.
Okay, I'll figure it out. I would call them childlike, stupid, not very naturalistic. Whenever I get monetized and have 10,000 subscribers and have a merch store, then I can do my own artwork.
And it's my belief you would sign those. If my lawyers file a motion and orders saying they need to talk to me telephonically and set this up, it's my belief that you would sign those. Am I incorrect? Are you not going to sign orders allowing me access to my attorneys?
I'm not going to sign an order to transport you to your attorney's office because that's outside of my jurisdiction. That is up to the prison where you are transported. So you're incorrect, and I'm going to sign that. I can't tell you whether or not I'm going to sign any other orders that you mentioned because I haven't seen them and I don't know what the reasoning is behind them, which is, I'm sure, the reason why Mr. Ornos probably is in preparation of those orders and hasn't submitted them. Because Mr. Ornos is 110% aware of what is and is not legally allowed. And Mr. Ornos isn't going to request something that he knows isn't legally allowed. Mr. Ornos just indicated that he has been having problems with being able to see you at the prison. And I did sign an order back on, I signed it May 18th, saying that he's supposed to have weekly telephonic conferences with you. And Mr. Ornos, are you saying that that is not being complied with?
I am, Your Honor. Yeah, it's not. They,
Okay. All right. Well, we're going to need to get the prison. We're going to need to get the prison here so we can have discussions with them about how this is going to proceed. I'm having this issue with the prison in another case, and they will actually be here on Monday in regards to that issue. But Mr. Ornos, I'm going to ask you to get in touch with the prison and file a motion to put this on calendar on the day that and we need them here. We need the Attorney General's office here on behalf of the
I
prison
feel sorry
so
for
that
her
they can
husband.
discuss why the prison is not in compliance with the order that I issued. And Henry Kim is here, it appears. Mr. Kim, are you here on this matter?
Your Honor, I'm actually here on the Bradford matter. I apologize for the camera. It's not working for some reason.
Okay, but how do we get in touch with, who's representing the prison in regards to not honoring my orders on Thomas Raymond?
Your Honor,
It's a 2-year-old hearing. It's just because the trial is supposed to start Monday, maybe Monday, Tuesday. So I thought I would watch this hearing just to see who this guy is, because I was sent the story yesterday, and I was going around on the internet to see if I could find something that wasn't a compilation, because those can get struck. I can make transformative content with direct feeds, but it's probably gonna start next week, and if nothing else excites me, I'll probably look into covering it if it's not too boring. So it's a 2-year-old. That's why everyone is masked up.
I'm not, I mean, because it's a criminal case and
Yeah, it was
there's
real
an
loud.
outstanding order regarding a weekly teleconference, I can certainly look into that and see what's going on. But I'm not sure if anybody's been made aware of that order. I'm not sure who's Mr. Orem is on this case.
Jim Ornos, you were made aware. As a matter of fact, I sent it to the prison, and the prison then called Chambers. So
okay, I personally haven't been made aware. So let's make that clear. Who at the prison did you provide the order to, and they deny the teleconference? I mean, this is something
they just ignored it. They called Chambers. No one even called us back. They just ignored it and called Chambers. That's what they did.
Okay.
So nobody called us back to even tell us that.
How about you can communicate with me, and then I can possibly facilitate and assist you in scheduling a teleconference with your client.
Fantastic. I'm sorry, what's your name again?
My name is Henry Kim, and you can look up my information on the State Bar website.
Okay, AG, I got it. Okay.
Judge Jones, also this virtual, we can talk on the phone, but obviously I can't see any video that my lawyers have that I need to see. They can't see any files that I have. Now, I have been sending my lawyer, Jim, a lot of files that is the crux of, there's 17, 18, 19 boxes of files. You only need these 300 or 400 pages. They speak for themselves. They will be my defense. If we go to trial, they will be the crux of what I am going to report to you in a minute. And then the state's going to have a real issue. But virtually, if nothing else, if we get 2 or 3 hours right in a row, and that's why I've done this, here's page 1, they got page 1, I got page 1, and we can go through each and every one of those files if it takes, and it's going to take 2-3 hours right in a row. And we do this virtually so that we can actually, I can show them. That's the purpose of having my hands uncuffed, so I can hold the files up and we can see what we got here. Also, my lawyer says they have no problem coming out and seeing me, bringing the laptop, bringing all the video, and spending all day here. They said that's not a problem, but they won't.
No, this is a normal defendant. But his problem is that he hasn't been able to have contact with his lawyers because, as we just heard his lawyer say, the prison ignored an order given by a court that they were supposed to be able to have weekly telephonic contacts with this inmate, and he has only 300 or 400 pages that he needs to go through out of the 17, 18, 19 boxes of evidence. But if he gets them to the lawyers, the state have a problem. Yeah, he has a lifetime subscription for Kool-Aid of the month.
won't let me do that, or they won't let them do that. This is nonsense. I want the hell out of here. And I know when these lawyers see what there is to see, they're going to file the appropriate motions, and they're going to ruin your day, and they're going to ruin the state's day, because then you are going to grant these motions that they file, and I'm going home. It's that simple. But it's not going to happen until they come and see me, till they have access to me. I've been waiting 14 years. I've had 25 attorneys. It's getting old. So you have to step up and make these people do what they need to do. And lastly, and this is
Mr. Randolph. All right, Mr. Kim is going to help facilitate getting you access to your lawyers. He just told Mr. Ornos that. Mr. Kim is going to facilitate that. So we're about to set a status check to make sure that that's been done and that you've had access to your lawyers. So that's exactly what we're going to do in regards to that issue. What is your last issue?
okay. I had a question. I couldn't hear you earlier. I heard the lawyers saying something about they were supposed to get something within so many days, and now I didn't hear what you was talking about when we first started, and you didn't know I was here. Something about they was expecting some paperwork and they hadn't got it, or
They're talking about the material from Crime Stoppers that there's been a court order for them to get. The state is agreeing to give it to them. The order's going to be signed for them to get it.
so we should have that in.
I have no idea, Mr. Randolph. I don't
Oh, okay.
control Crime
Okay.
Stoppers.
What I was asking, and I will try to get with the attorneys, if they can hopefully come out on the 10th. I know this is a holiday weekend, July 10th, spend some time with me. I'm wondering if we can have a status check on the 16th to see if these have been filed, because if they haven't filed these things, then we need to talk about maybe we're not working together, the lawyers and I, but I think I believe they're going to do what they're supposed to do. But is there a way to have a status check on the 16th so
No,
that
Mr.
I
Randolph.
can?
Could I be heard? Judge, could I be heard?
Yes, Mr. Randolph. First of all, you can't dictate when the lawyers are going to come visit you, okay? These lawyers are going to come visit you when they can arrange to come out and visit you. I am not going to sit here and guarantee you that that's going to happen on July 10th, because then if it doesn't happen, then we lie. Mr. Randolph, when I'm talking, you're not. I'm not going to guarantee
She
you
should
that. We're
have
also
had
not
the
having a
Brooks
status
case.
check date on
Jeez,
July
Pete.
16th. I'm going to set a status check date momentarily, but I'm about to hear from Mr. Orm because he would like to be heard. Go ahead, Mr. Orm.
Your Honor, just so the record is clear, I'm confirming today. I know Mr. Randolph has serious issues, and I'm going to work with Mr. Randolph and Mr. Ornos. I'm confirming today. I know very limited information about the case, but we're going to make sure that Mr. Randolph is visited, his issues are taken care of.
What are the odds that he has the same lawyer if this goes to trial on Monday?
Oh my God.
Because he has all the evidence, and it's just his lawyers that won't show them. If they would just show them, everything would be great. Is probably what he's thinking, because he just said that, well, maybe we won't be working together. It seems like one of those who just go through lawyers like other people go through underwear.
Clearly. What is it like? What is the trial on? Is it a retrial?
It's the retrial for because he got the DP, but then it was revoked, and now they're going to try it again.
What reason was it?
I didn't look that much into it.
Sorry, I'll look
at it
yesterday.
I was supposed to stop half an hour ago, but then who was it? Great
Success.
Great Success said I should go on, so I got on.
The appropriate motions are filed. And so I want to assure the court and Mr. Randolph of that. I know Mr. Ornis is working hard on the case.
Thank you, Mr. Orman. I have no doubt that that's exactly what you're going to do. So I'm ordering Mr.
Okay,
Kim to communicate with Mr. Ornos and Mr. Orem to make sure we get these visits coordinated. You guys will have that done. We'll have a status check on July 30th for a status check on visitation at 8:30.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor.
What was the date?
July 30th.
For clarity purposes.
July, okay, that was my, I have 2 minutes and I'm done. I filed a motion and I don't think you've got it yet. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay, basically what this motion is, and it's, I'm
Mr.
filing.
Randolph, you're not gonna tell me what the motion is. When I get the motion,
I'm
it's gonna be
sorry?
calendar. You're not gonna tell me what the motion is today because the motion is not on calendar and I'm not gonna decide it because I haven't read it. When the motion gets
Okay.
filed, I'm going to read it and then I will decide it at that time.
Okay, that's what I had asked, if we could do that on the 30th, so I guess you'll decide that and let us know.
Yep. Yep, thank
Okay,
you, sir.
thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thanks, guys. That's what I wanted to hear you was gonna do.
Listen to him.
He seems like a nice guy. I think he didn't do it.
Well, now I want to know more.
Well, because you want to know more, I give you more. Because everyone, you know, this trial, this channel, this life is nothing if we didn't have a little lashes to brighten us up. Jamie is kind of like Santa Claus. She gives, she gives, she gives. She never asks for anything. Even when I've been naughty, she's being nice. So remember. So if you can spare a little bit, because Jamie is the one who keeps this show on the road.
Yeah.
Even if Twisted tries to take it off the course, Jamie keeps it on course. So, but let's see what's in the. It's an article that's been updated a lot, so stuff could be subject to change, but let's read about this one.
Yeah, like what happened?
I'll begin it a bit. Thomas Randolph is due in court. So this is a Nevada man facing real trial for the 2008 shooting death of his wife and then hitman he allegedly conspired with to kill her is due in court Tuesday. That I believe that was this hearing. Or maybe it's Thursday. Sorry, not Tuesday. And he was sentenced to death in 2017 for the murders of his sixth wife and hitman. His conviction was overturned in 2021 after the state's highest court found the district court abused its discretion in admitting prior backed act evidence in trial.
Is that his wife?
No, that's him.
That's him?
Yeah. So, he wants this to this. There's made a docuseries made about it, The Widower. The defendant was married 6 times and 4 of his wives died under mysterious circumstances. He was a suspect in the 1986 death of his second wife in Utah, and he was acquitted in 1988. During his Nevada trial, prosecutors relied heavily on evidence from the Utah trial, including testimony from the man Randolph allegedly tried to recruit to kill Gold. Gold's death was initially ruled as suicide, but Eric Tarantino told a different story. He said that Randolph tried to convince him to kill Gold in a state's burglary to get her life insurance. And when he refused, Randolph beat him up, sent him to the hospital, and prompting him to flee the state in fear. And when he began to cooperate in the investigation of Gold's death, Randolph tried to hire a hitman to kill Tarantino through a woman Randolph was seeing on the side.
What?
This could be interesting. So yeah, Randolph pled guilty to witness tampering for soliciting a hitman to kill Tarantino. Nevada prosecutors argued in Randolph's 2017 trial that he wouldn't make the same mistake twice by letting his would-be hitman live. I wouldn't. If I ever allegedly sent a hitman after Søren. On May 8th, 2008, a masked intruder shot his sixth wife and that he shot and killed the intruder. And he recognized the person he befriended a few months before, and he developed an extensive secretive relationship. And the crime scene raised questions about Randolph's version of the events, and detectives began to suspect that he was involved in Sharon's murder based on inconsistencies between his story and the physical evidence. Further suspicion that Randolph's involvement, law enforcement uncovered evidence that Randolph took out multiple life insurance policies on Sharon before the killings, and that Sharon had removed Randolph as the beneficiary of her will after discovering he was seeing another woman. Ladies, what's wrong with you ladies?
That is him? That's so
That's
crazy.
him. He had 6 wives and ladies on the side. I'm not saying, ladies, that you have to make better choices, but make better choices. I don't think he wanted to be a woman. He had all the womans. Yeah, that's kind of old school, but in old school mafia time,
Vickers yelled at us, and we're I would never go 10 feet of that man. Oh.
We don't know because it was delayed. So I'm not even sure when the next hearing is in that case. Maybe they slipped on the stairs. Women tend to fall often. Feral. If I can't blame every woman on one woman's actions, what has the world come to?
What is this? Yeah.
Yeah. How did the women look? Because maybe it's kind of like the Texas case where she looked like a mummy troll. That's get that one. Yeah, arranged marriage could be the solution. Sarah Boone is October 2nd. I have nothing but good points, especially when I'm on muscle relaxers. Then I'm making all the sense.
Yeah.
A Clark County jury, Clark County, isn't that one of those we don't like? Convicted Randolph of murder and conspiracy charges in June 2017 for the deaths of Michael Miller and Sharon Randolph, and recommended 2 death sentences. How do you do that?
That's crazy.
You have to remind him.
If the first one doesn't stick, then...
Yeah. After his conviction was overturned in 2021, the case was remanded for new trial, setting the state for a do-over, and that is supposed to begin in next week. It's looking more interesting than I thought on the face value. So hopefully that's someone will live stream that so we can watch that.
I hope so.
So, but now we've been going 40 minutes longer than I was trying to, and we lost a few viewers, but it's 6 o'clock. I have to go get something to eat, lie down, try to get my back to not hurt this much. And everyone, you know what you're supposed to do. Go push the like button, and after that, go over and watch a little bit of Fedorowski's material, because I really like to see him get to 100 subscribers, just for the fun of it, because he makes content that's worth at least 100 subscribers. And Jamie, if we if nothing is wrong with my back tomorrow, I see you again.
Okay.
So everyone, Stabber Day tomorrow at 9 a.m. I have to say it right this time. I told Jamie it was 9 p.m. today. She thought I would be tired.
That was
Thank you,
weird.
Jamie.
'Cause I swear you said PM everywhere, and I was like, wait a second, I'm confused.
Yeah, but it's because when I have to put the stream up, I set it for 3 p.m. my time. That's 9. Yeah, that's 9 a.m. your time. So I have been looking at the clock. So I'm sorry, but
You're fine.
if everything goes well, there will be a Stab Your Day tomorrow, and hopefully Sal will show up. And I know that I know Mo won't be here. And Iris, yes, if I lived in the US, South Korea, Singapore, and Malaysia, that would be right. So, but I live in a country that's way smaller than those, so they think we should get more subscribers because that's making sense. And again, it's not the full monetization you get when you hit the 500. It's just the ability to have super chats and I can't remember, but there's some stuff in there that the rules are different than if you get the 1,000, 4,000. I have all the viewing hours I need, but I need some more people to subscribe to me before I can get monetized. But I'm not in the game for monetization. I'm in the game for entertainment and telephonetics.
Telephonetics.
Yeah. So I'm really not looking at the numbers. I got like 450 or something, and I'm really happy because my goal for this year was to have 50 subscribers. So this is more. It's fun, and having 33 people watching me in the third hour and having a lot of people going all the way through is really enjoyment for me. It's not about the money. It's about the smiles and the fun. So because it's YouTube. Whenever you're seeing something and thinking, that's stupid, just remember it's YouTube. Because if you're in the US, you have an audience of roughly 365 million people you can reach out to. I can do the same, but I come from a country with 5.5 million people. So logically, if I do a Danish only channel, I should have way less subscribers to meet the same criteria. But it's because advertising. The money YouTube pays are from advertisers, and advertisers will probably mostly want bigger channels to do it. I'm not even big enough to get a Raid Shadow Legends offer, which I would never take because I don't play those games. But the rules are different because it's YouTube. And I think it's just to try and roll it out and see how it goes. Because if you can get people going with the super chats, you have to remember that YouTube takes a certain amount of the super chat before I get anything. That I think they take like 30%.
Yeah.
So if you have a lot of people who you don't have to share ad revenue, yeah, you don't have to share ad revenue with, but you can still take 30% of their super chats. That's good. I can understand why you would do that. So yeah. Yeah, that's for the American, South Korean, Singapore, and Malaysia, or Australia. Not Australia, it doesn't exist. So yeah. Ooh, then I got 4 more today. It's a great thing.
Yay.
Yeah, I should have a Lego. Let me try and see if I can even build Legos anymore. I haven't done it in many years. Yep, it's tiny. I've said it more than once. But again, it's not the size of the bun, it's the heat in the oven.
It's true.
Yeah. So again, I have the exact same market. I really, if I had to look at it, I have 5.5 million more than David has because he can't speak Danish. So I can do multi-language content, but still, I know why they do it. It's to try and roll it out and see if the revenue picks up. I can understand it. It's business because we get this for free. I can stream to the whole world for free. I only have to pay for the StreamYard and my internet and my electricity.
Mhm.
But if they can get a little bit off the top, let's say I had a good week, made $100 in super chats, they would get $30 for it. That's more than they get now. That's easy. Exactly. It's the way you stir the spoon. And
Mhm.
sometimes it's not the car that's small, it's the garage you park it in. But everyone, enough about my car habits. I'm gonna see you all tomorrow if my back is not killing me. Thank you so much for hanging out, and everyone, go watch. Give Fedorowski a little watch. See you later, Jamie. Thank you so much for showing up. See you.
Bye.